not just a case. You're not just a client. You're a person, and you deserve support. You deserve simplicity. You deserve communication. When you hire an attorney, you deserve clear, risk-free advice that guides you to the best possible outcome in your injury case. And that's exactly what the advocates have been providing for over 30 years. After your accident, you deserve closure. You deserve compassion. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, The Monty Show, live on your Monday, November 10th, 2025. And as always, you have to temper my excitement about beating wholesale ass over the weekend. Where's all the crow, boys? You got your forks and knives out, boy? Yeah, how about BYU and Texas Tech? Why, if you're a Texas Tech fan, you probably ought to slow your roll a little bit. We'll talk about all that. We have got Notre Dame catching strays from Joey for whatever reason. Kirby Smart likes the Monty Show. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Who doesn't? And as always, we are presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. 24/7, 365. That's when you can get the Advocates. Where you need them, when you need them, how you need them, whenever you need them. The Advocates are ready to serve you, and you're not talking to an AI chatbot. That's the best part about it. No, friends, you are talking to a live injury attorney 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. And the best part is you don't reach into your pocket to pay the Advocates, because you don't pay the Advocates unless and until they win your case. Clear, risk-free advice right now at theadvocates.com. Texas Tech dominates BYU. Jake, how would you describe Texas Tech's performance opposed to BYU? Like, how much of a difference is there?
Oh, I think there's a big difference. I mean, I think Tech came prepared with a game plan defensively to hold BYU down. I think they executed that game plan flawlessly, quite frankly. I mean, I thought that their defense was more than as advertised. I think that they were just ready to go, and you would expect that playing at home, but it's one thing to say it and another thing to do it. And they absolutely did it. And then, on the other side for BYU, I felt like you got to that point as an offense where, you just didn't have the answer. That was the problem. We can sit here and sugarcoat it and break down X's and O's and we will. But the reality is that you got to a point in this game where nothing you were doing offensively worked, right? You tried running it a certain way. You tried some RPO. You tried some passing game. You tried, running Bear Bachmeier. But ultimately, none of that worked. And the reason none of it worked is because Texas Tech is a very disciplined unit on defense, and they don't have, a lot of flaws that way. So I just feel like you got to this place where you reached your ceiling as an offense, and you were like, we don't really have the ability to throw it down the field. We don't really have the ability to manipulate the safeties to open our receiver up. We don't really have the ability to run it the way we want to run it when LJ only gets 10 carries because he's not 100%. That's the problem. So, I mean, how do I compare these two? I mean, I think it was about as good as you can play if you're Texas Tech defensively. And I think you reached your ceiling as an offense for BYU.
Yeah, I think when it is as clear and defined as we saw this weekend in Lubbock, that the quarterback is going to be the deciding difference in what BYU's able to do this year, because you saw an elite Texas Tech defense dominate Bear Bachmeier. And this is the first time that, and I think we've talked about this at length about Bear, this is the first time he looked like a guy who had no answer. no ability, no capability to impact the football game. That's what you saw. And I know that is not popular amongst BYU fans. I know that this weekend has been tough. Texas Tech fan was not kind to BYU fan on the interwebs, as you would expect. But I don't think BYU should be holding their head, because I actually don't think there was that much of a talent disparity between BYU and Texas Tech. What I saw was a Texas Tech defense that did whatever it wanted to do. And I think the scary thing is BYU looked like the moment was too big. The special teams mistakes, unforgivable.
Out of a veteran.
Well, veteran or not, it doesn't even matter. I mean, you can't shank punts, you can't miss field goals, you can't fumble kicks. Like, just the mistakes that continue to happen in a game of this magnitude, it just tells you that, I don't know, is the right way to say it, that this team got out on its skis a little bit? Maybe. Did they roll into Lubbock overconfident? No. What it looked like is they rolled into Lubbock and got intimidated in pregame warmup. That's what it looked like. It looked like BYU came out incredibly timid. It looked like Bear knew that he was going to get his ass kicked and did not, this idea that I put forward where we talked about Bear not reading defenses. Well, that came back to get you today, because Texas Tech took away Parker Kingston. Specifically, you could tell Texas Tech's defense was going to be very physical at the line of scrimmage, and they essentially took away Parker Kingston early in this game, and Bear had no answer for that. And I think the hard part is that you just don't have the time to develop a quarterback on the fly in this game. And it's very difficult to deal with that. You look at Bears numbers, and the 23 of 38 looks a lot better than it was. The problem is the 4.9 yard average per completion. That was the issue. And even more than that, the average depth of target was 2.6 yards, because he's not trying to get the ball down the field. He's not capable of reading zone man. He several times made RPO mistakes where he should have pulled the ball back and didn't, and it cost them dearly. This was a quarterback in Bear Bachmeier who simply was not prepared for what BYU was going to face defensively from Texas Tech. And I think Texas Tech showed you why they are arguably the best defense in the country. And this is not coaching. This is nothing other than Bear Bachmeier is a true freshman who was not ready for this moment in his development. And I think, and I don't say this often about Aaron Roderick, I think he did a really nice job in being diverse inside the playbook. I think the trying to get LJ Martin to the outside, I would have liked to have seen more of that. But Bear, there's that play in the second quarter, I believe it was, where Bear needs to pitch that ball outside, and LJ Martin's got a first down and probably way more than that. Probably would have been a 12 to 15 yard pickup. He kept it and he gained 2 yards, and they wind up punting the football. That's not on Aaron Roderick. That's on LJ Martin. The idea that Bear Bachmeier was just simply not keeping his eye underneath. You could tell he felt pass rush coming, and it cost them so many times because he simply never looked left far enough to see that his running backs were open on a consistent basis in the flat. And so he's consistently trying to figure out where he's going to run to when he should be trying to figure out where he's going to throw to. The good news is all of these things will be fixed with experience. This hopefully, and I would believe so, this was a huge learning experience for Bear Bachmeier, and I can only think a loss like this is going to make him better.
Yeah, I mean, it really should make him better, but I think that look, the expectations don't change with this loss, right? Like, the expectations for BYU, all the hey, we're better than Tech, we're the best team in the Big 12, like, obviously you can't say that anymore. And now we get to the moment that I specifically referenced on Friday, which is, hey, you lost this game and you didn't lose it in a close one. You got dominated. How does this team bounce back? Right? How do we get to a place where you're able to go and beat TCU, Cincinnati, and UCF?
Yeah.
And I have real concerns about the Cincinnati game. I think you'll beat TCU and UCF, but the Cincinnati game is nothing to play with, especially if you beat TCU bouncing back. It is nothing to play with, and I think that you're fortunate to be where you are in the AP. I think that they gave you a solid spot. They didn't bounce you into the 20s or, treat you harshly or anything like that. But I just think that the hard part is as a program right now, you are in the very same position you were in last year. This is the very same position that you found yourself in this time of year, 3 games to go to get into the CFP. Can you get the job done? So that's why I say, I expect this team to get the job done. And I assume a 1-loss BYU team, excluding the results of the Big 12 championship game, would get into the CFP. But after the way we saw BYU treated by the CFP committee last year, again, I'm just going to keep saying I don't think it's a guarantee that you get in right here today. I think it does depend on what happens. And I think you need to win out to give yourself the absolute positive best resume possible. If you can say, hey, we lost to the inevitable Big 12 champion and that's it, okay, cool, you're in the CFP. I think at that point you're fine. But we need to see how does Bear Bachmeier bounce back? When does LJ Martin get back to being him? These are the things that I'm waiting to see out of this team.
Yeah, I think they're going to be fine. I mean, I think when the problem here is how do you mentally recompose Bear Bachmeier? Because the hard part watching this game was you saw his inability to process things moving forward. He had an average time to throw of 2.9 seconds. And for frame of reference, he has not had that much time to throw a football in drop back more than he had Saturday at any point during this season. He had more time to throw against Texas Tech than he did any other game this year. And the only one that was close was Iowa State last week at a 2.7. And he did less with more time because he cannot at this point process. So what really worries me is what I've been talking about. Can BYU run the table having him read wide receiver instead of read defense? That's a big question. They need to, in my opinion, if I'm BYU and I am going home for a night game on ESPN, they probably need to end some careers. They need to bury people. They need to disengage people's souls from their rectums against Texas Tech. They need violence. They need, just without question, to prove a point, because I completely disagree that this one loss alone will eliminate BYU from the playoffs. And I think if you lose at Texas, or if you lose at home against TCU, you're out of the playoffs. That ship has sailed. I don't believe they will. I believe in Jay Hill. I believe in Kalani Sitake. I believe in Bear Bachmeier, especially at home when there's a lot less pressure and a lot lower expectation. I think this will be a bounce back game, and I think you have got to do everything that you can do to find your way to the Big 12 championship game and a rematch with Texas Tech, because my feeling is that game will be significantly different than the one we saw this week.
Yeah, I mean, my concern with that is that you don't go from not being able to read a defense to being able to distribute, and work with what Tech gives you defensively in a couple of weeks. That's the biggest thing, right? And if I'm a BYU fan, this is what I'm looking for these next 3 games. I'm looking for development in this area of Bears game, because it really is, excluding mechanical development, because the throwing on a straight leg thing screwed him multiple times against Texas Tech. There were multiple awful decisions that he made that were then compounded because he just has awful throwing mechanics. But beyond that, mentally, the ability to say, okay, cool, I've got a back standing to my right, and this is my formation, and this is what the defense is. Where should I go here? What should I expect? What should I do? You don't just turn into that guy in I guess what would that be, a month's time, in the Big 12 championship game. And that's my concern, is that hey, you lost this game, and allegedly, and this is what BYU fans counting on, you're not going to get penalized if you lose to Tech again in the Big 12 championship game. But is it really a ringing endorsement to say, hey, yeah, you lost to the same team twice in one season, and those are your 2 losses?
But I think the thing that you don't underestimate how it feels to be Bear Bachmeier in the middle of that catastrophe. Because I've been around quarterbacks and I've been around this game long enough to know that you never forget what it felt like under center, or in the shotgun, because why the fuck would we ever put a quarterback under center?
Yeah, who does that anymore?
But my point is, I think that feeling that Bear Bachmeier is going to be stuck with, like it is a thorn in your fingertip, I'm telling you, that doesn't leave you, and it teaches you things. And I think I think this is where we find out who Bear Bachmeier is. We saw it with Jake Retzloff, who I will continue to compare the two, because again, I would say if Jake Retzloff was on this team, they probably win that game, because we do need to talk about some Texas Tech issues. But I look at how Jake Retzloff handled the Oklahoma loss 2 years ago, and he came back a completely different player. This game, this past Saturday in Lubbock, will fundamentally change who Bear Bachmeier is as a quarterback, as a competitor, as a football player, and as a guy. It will change him. He was awful in that game. He was everything that it terrifies you about playing a true freshman. But now you're laying on the ground and you're in your lowest moment. And now it's time to get up, dust yourself off, and go beat the hell out of TCU. And you have to have that mentality. But guys that are as young and as inexperienced as Bear Bachmeier do one of two things. They pick themselves up, they go and they dominate, and they go win the Big 12 championship. Or he's going to come out really hesitant. He's going to throw a couple of interceptions. He's not going to make good decisions in the RPO. He's going to be hesitant to throw that screen out left, which I told you is one of his worst snaps. And what almost happened on that play against Texas Tech, Jacob Rodriguez was standing there waiting for that football. And if the throw hadn't been so critically bad, that's a pick six, right? We're going to find out who Bear Bachmeier is. My guess is this kid's going to come back a monster. Because you don't go through what he's been through in his life just to get here. You don't wear number 47 as a quarterback and lay down. The kid's going to fight. He is going to be everything that you want him to be. I think he's going to be fine. I think BYU is going to be fine. I believe in their DNA. I believe in their mentality. I know culture is a word we all throw around. I believe in the culture in Provo. I truly do. And I think they're going to be just fine. They are going to be just fine. And I feel like, I just think you have to make some adjustments. You have to find a way to learn from this. Now, let's flip the coin a little bit, because I'm terrified about what I saw from Texas Tech. Baron Morton is not good. And I know everybody's talking about the injury and he's limping around. I'm fine with that. That doesn't fix the decision making. That does not fix the lack of confidence. It doesn't. You can put a fully functioning Baron Morton on that field, and I have no idea what he was looking at on a couple of those plays. Your inability, here's what really worries me about Texas Tech. You have this defense that is elite. And I think we saw all of it. We saw everything on display. Like, I mean, I cannot be more impressed with Jacob Rodriguez. I cannot be more impressed with Daly. I can't. Romello Height was everything and more that I told you it would be. And your quarterback's rated a 52.5? Wait. Yeah. No, that's not a misprint.
That's actually correct. That's not a misread.
Baron Morton against BYU. And this again, and I know the Texas Tech fan is here to gloat and to celebrate and serve crow, medium rare. Totally get it. But you need to look at this game critically because you won and you played poorly on offense. You were not good offensively. Baron Morton, 37 dropbacks, 17 of 32, 53%. Okay, the leg, the drive, the thing that scares you is the percentage of throws and this is what scares the hell out of you. 26% of his throws were possible interceptions. 26% of his throws were dangerous throws. And 3 of them hit BYU defenders in the hands or hand. And they did not intercept them. And he was rated a 52.5. If I am Joey McGuire, I am absolutely terrified because this defense has got to play exceptionally well for Texas Tech to move on. And I will never for the life of me understand their red zone struggles. When you run the ball as well as they ran the ball and they beat wholesale ass at the line of scrimmage. They moved BYU off the line of scrimmage and could not score touchdowns in the red zone. Now, I think, again, I'm just going to continue to tell you Isaiah Glasker is a bad motherfucker, dude. That guy, as many times as I could say it, Jacob Rodriguez, phenomenal football player. I see no difference between Rodriguez and Isaiah Glasker. I think Glasker is the finest cut of linebacker in the country. I think he's that good. And I thought the plays that he made, I thought the gutty performance that you saw in the secondary for BYU, who I felt like, I don't know how they were able playing that style of defense. And granted, they gave up 150 yards rushing. That's because they got beat to hell up front. But I just continue, and I will continue to tell you that Raider Dumani making a play in the end zone should have been caught, should have been a touchdown. They had 2 drops and probably 3 that should have been touchdowns, but they weren't. Just the way that Glasker, I think Tanner Wall was probably your defensive MVP of this game. And I cannot continue to tell you, Sautaala is just, I don't know how you can play better football than number 11 for BYU played. And Sautaala, Kelly, Glasker, Wall, Siali Acera, again, this defense is legit, and they're going to keep BYU in the game every single week. Every single week. And what should really worry you if you are Texas Tech this might be, and I know they won and everybody's celebrating, this might be the second worst performance you've ever seen out of Baron Morton. And you know what I'm going to say was the worst. He was only slightly better in this game than he was against Utah, who's the second best defense he saw. Because this was the best defense he saw this year. And Baron Morton was horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. Not that I struggle a little bit. He was horrendously bad.
Yeah, still found a way not to turn it over. Luckily,
Which might be your best point, because I have no idea.
Because I don't disagree, he played like ass, but he scored a touchdown or threw a touchdown, and I also think that, I also think, to your point, I mean, the running game from Tech was just God, outstanding. So I mean, without that,
but how does Evan Johnson? Evan Johnson has one pass defended, but he was in position maybe 3 times to intercept a football.
Oh, this could have been way worse. This could have been.
No. And Tech fan, I know you won the game, but I am begging you to understand you should have probably lost this game because of how bad Baron Morton was. If BYU, and I will die on this hill, if Jake Retzloff was a quarterback at BYU, they win this game by 10 points.
Yeah. But he's not, unfortunately.
He's not. So they didn't. But if you're a Texas Tech fan, today's not the day to be wreck 'em, boy. Pew, pew. Like, okay, you won the game. And your defense is the best defense I've seen next to Texas this year. Baron Morton's a huge problem for this football team. Huge problem. And he's hurt. I totally understand it. I know it. I love it. I get it. But I am telling you right now, Jake, they will not win unless Baron Morton, and I don't know how you change the spots on an old dog because he ain't a pup. I don't know how they win if he continues to play like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not. It's good enough to beat BYU, with all due respect. It's not. His play this weekend and, frankly, this season is not good enough to beat a team that has an offense capable of scoring on you consistently. If you were playing Indiana's offense, you'd have lost this game by a lot. If you were playing, I mean, even mid-level SEC offense. If you're playing
any of the top 10 offense, if you're playing Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Texas, Georgia, Bama,
look, any of these teams here. So if you're playing Ole Miss, Oregon,
look at did you see the throw by Jake?
Dude, I'm here for it.
Did you see the throw by Dante Moore?
Listen, I considered wearing Oregon gear on the show today because I have a whole collection now. But I didn't want to be glossed, Oregon or Eugene Jake on the show. So, like, good win for Oregon. But that's my point, is that if you're playing a team that doesn't have, again, one hand tied behind their back with the offense, because that's my true opinion. I think BYU is only probably, let's be generous and say 60% of what they truly could be because of Bears and experience. And again, again, crucify me if you want. The mechanics are just trash. Terrible. He has to fix his throwing mechanics if he ever wants to get to the top end. And that's why I say, like, I understand it. The kid's a freshman. I'm not even saying he's terrible. But what I am saying is that in this game, you attempted 38 throws with Bear Bachmeier in this game.
Ooh.
That is completely unacceptable given Bear Bachmeier's skill level. And the problem is,
I think you went to the half when Satuala makes that play on the sideline to save the touchdown. You went to the half feeling like you had a chance to win this game. And then you just came out and did absolutely nothing.
I disagree. I don't think you had a chance. I don't think you thought you had a chance to win this game at the half. I think you felt like you were lucky to be where you, for sure.
I think BYU's done a really good job this year at halftime adjustments. And the defense got significantly better in the second half.
But in this game, the halftime adjustment piece, and this is something we talked about last week. Hey, this team can play from behind, guys. You guys hate BYU. We can come back on. Not against this defense. You can't. Not against defenses that are this capable and this mature and this well run. And that's that. I watched the first half, and again, to be fair to the rest of the team, incredibly disappointed in Parker Kingston. Incredibly disappointed.
Really tough moment. Really tough moment.
For me personally, like I get it. Everyone makes mistakes. And I know you said earlier, it doesn't matter if it's a veteran or a rookie. To me personally, it matters because Parker Kingston's been here before. Parker Kingston's a cat that's had that moment before. See the K-State game last year. And you totally just killed any chance you had to get ahead in this game by dropping that kick early in the game. And, again, you lucked out because, again, I maintain you should have been down 14, 17 points in the first quarter, in my opinion.
Oh,
but
easily.
You lucked out.
You
lucked out because they just didn't convert. So to me, I agree with your sentiment that, hey, you're still in the game. You still have the opportunity to win the game. But if we're truth telling, you were not like I didn't ever feel like Bear Bachmeier was in danger of bombing it over the top or making this defense respect his style of play at this stage in his development. And so that's why I say like 7 point like this. And by the way, just for the record, FTR, hey, any flowers for 29 points, not 30 points, as we said last
I thought
week?
about that.
Dude,
I
29 points, not 30.
Come on, they're going to score 58 points.
I mean, come on, dude.
BYU doesn't give up 30. Yeah, but they're going to score 72 points here, bro.
Come on, bro. We told you on 30 points. So I don't know, dude. Yeah. I think that these two teams had a pretty poor showing, generally speaking, on Saturday. I think Tech left a lot out on the field in terms of optics and how they would be ranked. I felt like BYU had a massive gut check, reality check, slice of humble pie.
Yes.
And now we have to see, because the one thing I am terrified about for Tech is this seemingly red-hot upstart West Virginia team that beats teams that they have no business beating. And you're going to their place to end the year. And by the way, you're a one-loss team right now. So, again, you still have to win out after this.
Do you not buy it?
That they'll beat West Virginia? Or, I obviously I think Tech is going to beat West Virginia, but I think that could be as close a win as it gets. I think, you're not scoring.
That UCF game's no walk in the park, man. Like, I mean, and I don't know if Mike Smith is here or not, but their win, now they played some rich rod ball with the hair pulling and getting after, Julian. If you didn't see the Colorado West Virginia game, the hard part was Julian Lewis, the freshman quarterback, who you saw it on display. The kid can really play football. They tried to hurt him. And that I have some bones to pick with that. They pulled it. They tackled him by the hair on one play. They twice rolled into him in the backfield. Like, I didn't love that. But the point is, Rich Rodriguez has West Virginia playing the kind of football game where they're never going to roll over and give up. And they might be down 3 scores. They're not going to quit. And I think it is going to be really interesting to see how that game plays out. I think that UCF is playing some really tough football right now. I believe they won over the weekend, which I think, again, tip of the cap, because why is UCF playing football? I don't know either. Or no, they lost to Houston 30-27, excuse me. But listen, I think that game this Saturday in Lubbock with UCF is going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting. But anyway, here nor there. Where do you guys come down on this? Because I'm already Bo, who is also an Amazon FBA guy and a massive Texas Tech fan. Sent me a DM.
This ought to be good
on the TikTok jerky boy I'm really heartbroken to hear you sell out for BYU today.
And so it begins.
Do you have no ability to understand that Baron Morton is hurt and he's gaming it for us because we don't have anybody else now? Okay. Baron Morton, I understand he's got this fracture in his leg. Totally get it. But I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat your chances at winning the conference championship and playing in the college football playoff because your starting quarterback has a fractured leg. See Florida State several years ago. This is the game you chose to play, and you have a leg fracture. It sucks. No team is going to be 3 starting quarterbacks deep. That doesn't exist in today's world. Very rarely. You've burned through your first 2, and now your first starting quarterback, who we've been talking about this for the entire season. This is not new. This is not based on what we saw in the BYU game. I've been asking questions about Baron Morton all season long. All season long. And you're seeing the same mistakes. I understand he's a statue. I understand he does not move well. But do you understand that his decision-making is terrible? Like he is throwing the ball. It's one of 2 things. And here we are on November 8th that this game was played. Baron Morton and his wide receivers are not on the same page. He had a guy go up. He threw an out. And it hit, I think, Tanner Wall. It hit somebody right in the chest. They didn't catch it. He had a ball on the sideline that if it's a millimeter less underthrown, that ball's intercepted. Right? Like, you can't excuse just bad decision-making and throwing a ball where a receiver is not. And they won the game, and I totally understand that. But what I am telling you is there are real problems on this offense with Baron Morton as the quarterback, healthy or not. I'm not saying that Texas Tech sucks. I'm keeping it real with you. We're not the Homer Show. We're the Truth in Sports Radio Show. And I'm telling you the truth. The numbers don't lie. My eyes don't lie. And the results don't lie.
Sorry, folks. That's what it is.
And Calford is rich. And the results don't lie. Wow, Calford. Appreciate that, my guy.
Nice.
Thank you. Go Bears, bowl eligible. How about some of those throws? And again, I know this is another thing I've been talking about all year. And we can go round and round about Cal and where Cal is and where Cal should be, but they're 6-4 and 3-3 in the ACC. And beating Louisville on the road is no small feat. And Sagapuatelli, I just will continue to sit here and tell you that kid is going to win a Heisman Trophy. Now, I'd love to see him fire Wilcox, but here nor there. J.K. Sagapuatelli is a stud. 30 of 47, 323, and 2 touchdowns. Just outstanding. And so, and the ball, there are a couple balls off his hand that are just like, how? How does a ball look like that in the air? Like, it is, you're not even joking, Calford, and I really appreciate the $50. Thank you. It's incredible. It really is. Kyle J04. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. The Utes are headed to Waco. And this is a revenge game. And this is that game. Yes. Selling the lead. Thank you for being a member for 23 months. This is that game where we're going to remember Baylor for ending Cam's career at Utah. Because that's essentially what happened. That's essentially what happened. So I think this is a statement game for Morgan in the defense. I really, really do. Utah's got to prove a point. Pete Forte, a member for 24 months. Good morning. Peter, good to see you. Always appreciate you. Let's see. Who's first in today? Chewy Gonzalez. Iowa should have won that game. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. That throw by Dante Moore.
Candies and nuts, bro. And by the way, your kicker's got a set to make that kick.
I don't know what it was about this game for Oregon. Dan Lanning almost cried in the post-game interview. I don't know why. Maybe because he's a bitch. I have no idea. But I only said that because Jake throats Dan Lanning as often as possible.
Sucking a ding dong.
Yeah, cucumber that guy. But my point is, that throw by Dante Moore, I don't know that I've seen a better throw than that all weekend long. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did. In the Indiana game, which we need to talk about. Did you see that throw?
Mm-hmm.
I would like, listen. I don't ask for much, right? I sit here every day. I let your wife stare at me because I'm hot. Like, I don't ask for much. But I want to be recognized as the quarterback guru on the planet Earth. Because what I saw this weekend out of the quarterbacks that I have been Dan Lanning on their cucumbers and stuff.
Such as in like?
The throw by Dante Moore. Does anybody want to talk about what Indiana did to the pedos? And does anybody want to talk about Fernando Mendoza and the throw? That final drive is why he's going to win the Heisman Trophy.
Doesn't get any more red, white, and blue than that.
I mean, this is a kid, speaking of Cal, this is a kid who deserves every damn thing that he has coming to him.
Google me.
Fernando Mendoza, he's the most professional ready quarterback in college football. He is, in my opinion, everything that's right about watching a kid throw a football. He cares. He wants it. He's competitive as hell. And that throw and whatever Omar Cooper Jr. said to the devil to get him to pull his foot back in bounds, that might be the best pitch and catch I have ever seen in a football game. And that it buried those pedophiles in Happy Ending Valley.
The victory has already been won.
Joe Paterno knew and covered it up. And this is his penance. Because Fernando Mendoza is that guy.
Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly right. Thank you.
Suck.
Yeah. Get the hell out of here. David Persons, Retzloff, who exactly? Jake, whoa.
Whoa.
Jameson, Jake Retzloff, Heisman play, then interception, story of his career. Well, and it may be. Listen, it may be, but you can't anymore. And I love the BYU fans saying, oh, Jake Retzloff got benched. That guy sucks. Well, I mean, they did beat Memphis, who was 8-2. And I know he didn't have a very good game because he only accounted for 375 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Oh, so it turns out he can hoop. Turns out he does know ball.
Are you out of your mind?
Who the f*** is that guy?
332. And you want to talk about an average? 14.4 yards of completion. 332, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 10 carries, 43 yards, and a touchdown.
Any questions?
BYU would be undefeated. They would be legitimate national championship contenders if Jake Retzloff hadn't pounded box in an apartment in Provo.
Yeah, that nonsense in the RPO game against Tech doesn't happen with Retzloff.
No.
He runs that RPO to a T.
Dude, he is... This is not a revelation. I'm happy for that guy because I don't believe what he was accused of actually happened. And I think that kid has lost tens of millions of dollars because of those allegations. And all he did was forget it, flushed it, moved on, went to Tulane, and he is kicking wholesale.
You take you a douche,
ass.
you don't sit there and look at it.
I mean, it is. That's what I'm saying. He moved on all right.
Hold on. Did your light turn on its own? I'm sorry for pointing this out.
What light?
This light from it. Has the light been on the whole time? Am I just tripping today?
Which
that light? The light that's in front of you, has that one been on the whole time? I feel like it wasn't on at the start of the show.
No, it's what.
Maybe I'm just tripping. I don't know. I swore it wasn't on at the beginning of the show.
That
light. Yes, that light. Now I got to go back and verify.
It's been on the entire show.
Okay. All right. Maybe I'm just tripping then.
It has been on. Yes, it has been on the entire show. And I say that because when the show started, I had a crazy headache and it was blaring in my face. And I was like, God damn, boy. Now I feel better. The stadium guy, TCU, Dana. The QB guru is Lane Kiffin. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. LOL, Uncle Monty getting ducked up with quack and creatine. Yes, I am. Yes, you guys, come on.
Okay, so we're happy with the progress.
No, I hate it. You know what the cool thing was, though? I did something I swore to Jake I'd never do this weekend. I rode lime scooters. I rode lime scooters all over Seattle this weekend.
Did you leave those on a freeway entrance ramp as well, or,
So you guys know, like those lime scooters you see everywhere? I don't think anybody should ever ride them. We have a balcony that looks down. I live in downtown Seattle right now. We have a balcony that looks down on a very busy street. We watch dudes eat ass all day long on those scooters. And my wife was like, we should do it. We should just rent a Lime bike. And they have these new things called glides. But, for somebody who's no longer 350 pounds, they don't go very fast. So I got on a bicycle. They're amazing. The Lime bicycles. Then I got on one of those scooters, and it's terrifying. And
Did you ride it on the sidewalk?
No. No, Seattle's got bike lanes everywhere. It's amazing. But I wore a helmet and everything. It's terrifying how fast those things go. I lost my train of thought. You want to feel out of control like you're almost going to die? Get on one of those Lime scooters. I'll take a bicycle every single day. But we rode about 20-something miles on the Lime scooters and had a great time doing it. I'll never get on one again, but I'll get on the Lime bicycles. I'm not getting on one of those scooters because I go to work and I'm in the gym and I'm feeling good and I get on the scooter and I'm in full control of it. But dude, you're doing like probably 25 miles an hour on one of those things.
Do you even lift?
Nah, bro. I'm fine. That final drive, first play of it was bad. The rest of it was pure college football magic. Okay. Oregon can run the ball into a first round home game and miss the conference championship game. Wide receivers will be ready for postseason. Dude, they need them. I mean, Dante Moore, you guys, again, as most of you will understand, I am an absolute pimp in every sense of the word. I don't know how Dante Moore is doing it because I think he just does not have great wide receiver talent. The best tight end in the country is hurt for them, and I truly do not know with what is going on with them. I have no idea how on earth they are able to throw the football and move the ball the way they are. And you're just not like Kenyon Sadiq is the best tight end in the country. I don't know that it's close. And he didn't play this weekend, and they still went to Iowa against one of the best defenses in the country and probably the best secondary I've seen this year, and they threw the ball and they won. It's amazing to me.
Hey, Will Stein, you're a stud.
Bro, it's amazing to me. And DeCorian Moore didn't play. DeCorian Moore just didn't play in this game. And you're like, okay, well, you know what? That's fine because Kenyon Sadiq will bail him out. Yeah, nope. Kenyon Sadiq didn't play in this game.
I need to catch the damn ball.
Did not play in this game. And yet they still want. Will Stein, I'm telling you, is the best offensive mind in the country. And I would hire him to be my next head coach. What's that say about Cal for misusing Mendoza for all those years? Nothing good, TJ. Because he is a stud.
Hey, TJ, let me fix this for you. What does it say about the ability to transfer and launch your career into the stratosphere by leaving your program? That's what the question is.
Yeah. Yeah. Gumby said it.
Said it.
Your thing's green. Okay. It means Willie Cox needs fired. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Greg Hawkins. So I was talking to a former ESPN friend of mine who may or may not cover the Cubs regularly. He told me not to expect the Cubs to spend a lot of money this winter. He said they're not, because I said, well, Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber, and his answer was,
"That's a great joke, Monty. That's a great joke, bro. Nice job, dude. Really nice." I thought you mentioned the Cubs and Bryce Harper in the same convo. Do you think Bryce Harper's going to play for that club when Kyle Schwarber allegedly wants nothing to do with them? Come on.
I want to cry, but it's fine. It's fine. AI 43276. 309. Iowa right there with Oregon, Indiana, and Iowa State, middle of the pack in the Big 12. Okay. Dude, Iowa's defense is good. They need a change. Do you guys, and maybe this is just me, and I am, and yeah, wait a minute. Yeah. I have real disdain for those pedophiliacs in Happy Ending Valley. I do. Can we make let's get a petition going, right? Let's get a petition to make quarterbacks great again. Maybe we can get some hats with some letters on them. Make quarterbacks great again. I don't know. It's not very catchy. Anyway, the point is, can we get quarterbacks under center? Did you guys see the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams? Anybody notice the game-winning play? Did anybody see?
Stay hard.
What did I tell you on Thursday or Friday? I can't remember what day. Caleb Williams needs to be under center more.
He needs to be under that center's ass.
He needs to stick his painted nails in his rectum crack.
Yeah.
And what did the Bears do? They put him under center. And what did he do? As though Ben Johnson watches the show, and you know he does. They ran play action from under center, and the entire Giants defense collapsed onto the running back, allowing Caleb to get outside, and he sprinted to that back pylon like it was his mom's titties, and the Bears won the football game. And his nails were bright green or whatever they were.
Have you started flying the Bears flag off your balcony yet?
I have not. I don't even know where the Bears flag is, frankly. But my condo is finally fully unpacked, and there's just stuff that's not here. You want to know what a bunch of a-holes the movers were? So we were just unpacking this weekend, finally got the last boxes unpacked. 37 cans of food. Black beans, water chestnuts, because who doesn't like some water chestnuts? Just 37 cans of food in a box. Not labeled box, labeled closet. Not pantry, not canned food, closet.
Bro can feed a whole village before he finds that box, dude.
Do you think I have room in my cabinets for 37 cans of food? You know why? Because I bought other cans of food. Moving sucks.
Oh, man, dude.
So bad.
Incredible.
So bad. Flush Willie Cox. I think you might get your wish. Come on, McFly. The light has been on the entire show.
Yeah, sorry, dude. I was just tripping. I don't know. I thought it turned on its own. I don't know.
Wellness check on Jake. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. You know, the stash of mystery by Monty. I hate it. Oh, so I was riding the Lime scooters this weekend and it actually moves in the wind. You know, it's what we do.
Timothy.
Me last week, Memphis will get the G6 spot in the college football playoff. Retzloff, toot, not so fast. Exactly. Jake looks like he drinks Michelob Ultras with that puffy vest. Here we go with the vest again.
Dude, I didn't wear it one day and y'all complained, and now I'm wearing it and you're all complaining.
Dude, I went to a North Face store this weekend. I was in full douche mode this weekend, by the way. I officially
you should put the picture up, dude. The man bag is nice, dude.
I don't really do I have the picture? Yeah, I was fully in the man bag this weekend, you guys. I wore the Louis man bag and frankly it was glorious.
Any update on the Rolly yet? On the Rolly coming? Any update? Has it shipped? Like, what are we doing?
The second one has shipped. I'm waiting for it to clear customs.
Okay.
So I'm quite excited about that.
Nice.
Then we'll really be in full douche mode. But I was quite proud of myself this weekend. Such as in like and I can't, God, son of a chicken biscuit. I hate. Can we just send it as a JPEG? Does it have to be a thing?
Just screenshot the picture on your computer, then you can upload it in.
That's what I'm gonna have to do. But how do I screenshot it on my computer?
Just
when I don't. Well, I don't, but I don't have it on my computer.
So
I only have it
airdrop
on my
to the
phone.
computer.
I did, but I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the point is Saturday, I went full douche guy. And admittedly, I mean, it's a look that you can't pull off, you guys.
Do you
and I don't
feel
want you
like a douche wearing the bag, or is it just kind of
I love it.
a personality?
I love it. I love it, you guys. I love wearing the bag.
So you put your phone, your wallet, your keys. Is that right?
My phone,
bag.
my wallet, my keys go in the bag. Cash goes in the top. Not that I ever have cash. My wife, here's a shocker. My wife has like $127 in cash on her. Who knew?
Well.
But went full on douche mode over the weekend. Put on the douche goggles. Noticed the Cubs hat because, well, it's what we do. Had on the Jordan 1s.
When did we start doing different laces on our Jordan 1s?
I don't know. They just worked on that colorway.
Yeah.
It worked on that color. I get more comments on those shoes than any other one. But the pants that are 71 sizes too big now. That's a vest. That's my Callaway golf vest. 3 sizes too big now.
Mike is not a fan of this look, bro. Good God, at least wear it under the coat so nobody can see it.
Do you know how many people? So I walk into I walk into Lululemon over the weekend. And because I'm on a run of Lululemon classic pants now. And I walk into Lulu and 4 or 5 dudes were like, nice bag, dude. Hey, nice bag. Nice bag. Hey, love it.
Sucking a ding dong.
It's a motif.
Monty getting throated in the Lulu store over his bag, bro.
Dude, it's incredible. It's incredible. I love it. Brother. I absolutely love it. And I'm thrilled with it. It works. It's comfortable. It's the advantages of not being a fat whale ass anymore are significant. They are significant. Everything Now, the issue is the clothes are way too big, but it is what it is. Like this quarter zip, like
Greg has some thoughts here. You look like a 28-year-old Slavic taxi driver.
right? Right? You know.
I mean, I like the bag a lot, dude. The bag is definitely pretty slick, no doubt.
Oh, Sergeant Green for $100 and happy 250th birthday to America's most elite fighting force, Semper Fidelis, Sergeant Green.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you very much. Yes, and thank you to everybody in this comment section who served or has served.
Yeah, you want to talk about the bad MFer crew, you know.
Dude, seriously. That's a very douchey look. Well done. I even put a douchebag sticker above it on social. Joey says, Monty dressed like he's at a Yugo dealership. Bro, the rain does bad things to the Beamer. And
what does that mean?
I need a detail is what it means. And there really are no good hand car washes here. My building does not want me to get my car detailed in their garage, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. But, you know. Joey says, Monty dressed to attend a WWE production at Climate Pledge Arena. Exactly. The Luxo sack brings all the high rollers to the table. Who are you, Chauncey Billups? Exactly right.
Okay, here's a question. Do you just put your seatbelt on over the bag? Is that how that works?
It goes around the bag. It goes around the bag. Yeah, no, I don't take the bag off when I get in the car.
Yeah.
I don't anyway. You easily could, you know. But I do kind of look like a Slavic taxi driver. That's not a bad point.
Well, it's more the car than the bag, though, right? I mean, the highlighter color really finishes the motif, you know.
That car is amazing. That car is a blessing and a joy to drive. It is. Man, I love that car. I absolutely love that car. It's remarkable. Massengill, Monty, hey, you do what you got to do, man. Got to smell fresh, right? Does Monty have a cup for his bag?
Not sure I follow there, bro.
Unc looks like Jack. Okay. Joey, the Slavic taxi driver wins. Well done, Greg Hawkins. The mustache changes things, and I don't necessarily love it.
What does that mean?
It changes the look of things. Although it is losing weight is very interesting. It's very interesting. Kay Nurin, hello. I still want BYU to play Notre Dame in a bowl game. All right, can we get into Joey McGuire, please?
Catching strays, bro.
Okay, so Texas Tech wins and really dominates BYU. Is Jacob Rodriguez a Heisman Trophy candidate?
I really think the guy at Indiana, the quarterback at Indiana, is playing at a high level and his team's undefeated. The Ohio State quarterback's playing at a high level. His team's undefeated. Texas A&M's quarterback, they're playing right now and he's playing at a high level. But guys, the Heisman is given to the best football player. It's not given to the best quarterback. They have awards for that. And if you can't say that Jacob Rodriguez at his position is not playing at that level, at an elite level, right? Elite, as good as anybody in the country. And guys, really honestly, if you start looking at it, it's awesome because people have been putting these stats together. The things he's doing compared to linebackers that were actually there at the Heisman race or we're talking about at the Heisman race. So, man, I know our Lubbock media will keep pushing it, but, man, anybody that's national in here, you should push it because that kid deserves to be a part of that.
Jake, do you agree?
I do, but I don't agree that it's not a quarterback award because it is, in my opinion. I just think that he's a hell of a player, no question about it. But unfortunately, I just think that it's turned into a quarterback award. I don't really know how else to say it. And I think that we've seen,
I would agree.
You've obviously seen a DB here, a running back there, but what I really agree with is, I think it might have been Joey who said this. I can't remember. I might have that wrong. But I do think that we need to, at least with the Heisman, maybe other awards, we really need to change when that voting happens. I agree that the Heisman voting should take place after the CFP, because anybody in the Heisman running should be in the CFP, right? Or at least should be playing games of significance in their conference championship game. And that, for me, if Tech doesn't go to the CFP at this point, we would all be really surprised, obviously. So, for me, I look at it and I say, hey, like, why don't we push this back so we can accommodate performances at a really high level in games of leverage? But I would not have, Jacob Rodriguez in the Heisman. I do think that he is the best linebacker in the country, though.
I think he's one of them. And I would agree with Buckeye Nation. A linebacker ain't winning the Heisman Trophy.
Mm-hmm.
D-Rock says, stop it. Okay, well, D-Rock, let's keep going with the stop it, because Joey McGuire, he is what he is. This is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard.
Was really excited whenever they joined the Big 12, because I think that they carry a lot of weight and a lot of respect. I think that I have a lot of respect for them entering a conference and not playing an independent schedule like other people. Y'all already know who that is. And so I have a lot of respect for that. I mean, they're earning their right, just like everybody but a couple of people in the nation are earning their right through conference play, and playing in some really tough plays.
What does that mean? They earn their right like everybody but, Notre Dame. Notre Dame did exactly what Notre Dame needed to do, which is secure their spot in the college football playoff as long as they are one of the 12 highest ranked teams in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, they don't have to join a conference because, well, let's see. Are they on TV? Well, they're never on TV unless it's every single weekend during the football season.
Yeah, I mean, just that amount. I mean,
do they have a TV deal? Not unless you count NBC and Peacock, who pays them an outrageous amount of money for all of their home games. They're making more money than just about everybody else. And they schedule better than just about everybody else. And you look like we just announced a home and home with Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
Why the obsession with Notre Dame? And I'm here for it in the comments section. Explain to me why. Why would I, if I am Notre Dame, join a conference? What you look at some of these schedules, right? You look at 2026, Wisconsin. That's at Lambeau Field. That's a Big Ten game. Rice, Michigan State, Big Ten. Purdue, Big Ten. North Carolina, ACC. Navy, Miami, ACC. SMU, ACC. Boston College, Stanford, USC, Big Ten. Why? Okay. 2027. Well, this is certainly going to go downhill, Monty. Purdue, Michigan State, Auburn, Georgia Tech, Wake, Virginia Tech, Clemson, Navy, Duke. Well, 2028, though, they're in real trouble because of Texas, Arkansas, Purdue, Auburn, Vodtech, Clemson, Navy, Boston College, Miami at Pitt.
Right.
But Monty, 2029, they fall off a cliff because Alabama, USF, Texas, North Carolina State, Georgia Tech, Florida State, Wake, Navy, Syracuse, Clemson. I can keep going,
right?
Because it only gets better every year. Why would it help me understand? Why should Notre Dame join a conference?
Yeah, I mean, there would be no impetus for Notre Dame to join a conference, and I think that it's unfortunate that Joey looks at it this way, because I don't think that there's any, there's no advantage to it. And I understand the take of like, okay, they're having to play in adverse environments and stuff like that, but they're already doing that. I mean, you could make a strong case that Notre Dame's schedule a lot of years is tougher. I mean, A&M on its own is a tougher opponent than anything Texas Tech has seen this year. And I think if you also consider Miami is a better opponent than I think pretty much anything Tech has seen this year. So for me, I look at this and I say, Joey, like, with all due respect, bro, I don't think that this is rocket science to understand, and I don't really understand the whole point of going after BYU. I mean, it really is a silly
Notre Dame,
take, in my opinion.
Going after
Notre Dame, yeah.
Because I would look at here's strength of record, here's strength of schedule. Notre Dame 30th strength of schedule. Note that it's significantly better than Ohio State. It is better than Indiana. It is better than Ole Miss. It is on par with BYU and Oregon. It is better than Texas Tech. Why would they do that? Why would they? You look at their FPI. Their FPI is 5. Why would they join a conference? They wouldn't. There's no reason. And Joey can be bitter ass Joey. And everybody else who hates on Notre Dame for not joining a conference, tell me why they should. They draw massive attendance everywhere they play. They draw massive TV every week that they play. They sell a ton of merchandise. They make people money.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the Bamas and the Miamis and all these teams on their schedule Notre Dame because it's a losing proposition? Of course not. Of course not. Boom, Monty, spitting facts. Well, and obviously I want it to be known I am a passionate Notre Dame fan.
Right.
You're Marcus Freeman. But, sorry. But my point is, I just don't understand why Notre Dame, who's competing in every category that matters, we're paying a ton of NIL, we're getting a ton in the portal, we're getting a ton in recruiting. What don't we have? Well, wins over quality opponents that we do schedule, but
Yeah, I just think that Notre Dame, joining a conference, everyone always says, oh, well, these other teams are all in conferences, right? Like if you look at the AP Top 25, hey, all these other great teams are in the conference, right? Are in a conference, and basically Notre Dame is the only independent that competes at the FBS level, that's in the top 25 every week, that is an independent. But all I'm saying is, what is the impetus? Why would they join a conference? And furthermore, what disadvantage is, Indiana, Ohio State, any of these teams, what disadvantage are they at because Notre Dame is an independent? Because I could make the case that playing in the Big Ten, you're at a tremendous advantage versus being an independent.
Huge.
You have all the benefits of being in a conference. You have everything that you could ever want money-wise being in the Big Ten. So why is it that we care so much about Notre Dame being in a conference versus just saying, yeah, like they're an independent, it is what it is, they compete at the highest level, they've got tradition, they're here all the time, like they're in the CFP all the time.
Do you know how difficult it is to do what Notre Dame does? That's why BYU joined a conference.
And you notice Joey references that early in the clip, right? He talks about how BYU, did a great job joining a conference, and he kind of alludes to that process a little bit. But I don't think that BYU's efforts as an independent have or should ever be compared to what Notre Dame has as an independent. Notre Dame has heritage, tradition. They have always been competitive in college football at the highest levels. We know that. It's not new. And I don't think for BYU that was always the case. There was this process of building and growing in stature and trying to figure out, hey, well, can we be part of a Pac-12 expansion package with Texas and SC back in the day? Can we what can we be a part of? And that's why I say for Joey, I want the guy to get back in the mindset of staying in your lane the rest of the way. Stop talking about Notre Dame. Stop talking about all this other stuff and start talking about how Baron Morton's going to get healthy. Start talking about how you're going to go undefeated the rest of the way, and you're really focused on next week. Because last time I checked, when this was brought up to Marcus Freeman, Marcus Freeman coach talked the hell out of it and just said, "I'm focused on next week," which is the exact right thing to be doing if you're any coach this time of year at the college football level.
I totally agree. Because Notre Dame can do what most teams can't do. And do you guys know how difficult it is to schedule at the level that Notre Dame is scheduling at? It is really difficult. Greg Hawkins, Notre Dame greater Texas Tech in pretty much every conceivable institutional and athletic metric.
Which
I think it breeds contempt. I think there is it jealousy or envy, whatever you want, whatever it is. I understand the frustration, but then go and do what Notre Dame does, and you too can be an independent. Yes. There's a reason. And Tom Holmoe, the former athletic director at BYU, was a masterful schedule maker. He did a great job. Mm-hmm. But you know the issue with being an independent? You have zero room for error. And we found it out the last 2 years about Notre Dame, because if Notre Dame loses again, they're done. Well, only they haven't. They haven't. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see how it goes. Joey says, Jake, drop the soundbite. LFG, Notre Dame, our mother.
Now, you all fired up over here now, bro? Is that
yes?
Notre Dame, our mother.
Damn right. Because Notre Dame, yes, I agree. I don't have a problem with Notre Dame not being in a conference. I just think it's almost like politically correct that there should be no independent. But what is, you either are good enough or you're not.
No, I mean, isn't it just the exact opposite though? The concept of, hey, well, it's politically correct to be in a conference. No. What's politically correct is saying that Notre Dame has this perceived advantage by being an independent. That's what's politically correct.
Exactly.
What's not correct is that very thought though, is that, oh, well, Notre Dame has this advantage and they get to do it. No, dude, actually, that's not the truth. There was talk, I want to say 2 years ago, two seasons ago, 2 cycles ago, about a perceived change in the,
that's right,
the relationship with Notre Dame and the rest of college football, that the only way that Notre Dame would be, able to continue as an independent is making sure that its scheduling relationships obviously, stood in place and standed pat. And that to me is still the only thing that will make Notre Dame go to any conference is the rest of college football saying, hey, you know what? Yeah, we're not going to schedule with you unless you join a conference. Like we'll do some non-con conversation with you, but we're not going to schedule your full season slate. And by the way, everyone just seems to forget, not to go on here, but they do have a relationship with the ACC. I think people just
a scheduling agreement.
Yeah, they just forget that Notre Dame has a scheduling agreement with the ACC. So it's not as though in this change or, because I'm not convinced yet. We'll have to see how the CFP rankings play out. But it's not as though Notre Dame is able to go, okay, let's look at AP Top 25, the last week of the year last year, the CFP rankings from last year, and let's just schedule out all these opponents. You understand they make these schedules like 4 years in advance, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
Joseph, who I've never heard of Joseph before. He's on the old tweet machine, says it's not fair. Jesus was born to be a Notre Dame fan because his dad was a Notre Dame fan. They're all a bunch of unscrupulous cheaters. Hey, listen, it's not my fault that Jesus has season tickets and is at every Notre Dame home game. Mm-hmm. Obvious reasons he didn't choose Penn State or Michigan. Question, would the Big or the SEC ever make a rule that their members aren't allowed to play Notre Dame? Why would you do that? Notre Dame is a national power who, especially in your building, is going to sell more tickets, sell more beer, sell more food, sell out hotel rooms. And I'm not going to go. You can go look. The metric that Notre Dame makes per game on the road is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And when you go to Notre Dame, you get on NBC, there's a lot of reason to play Notre Dame. There's a lot of reason to play Notre Dame.
What? In fact, I would say, why would you not want to play Notre Dame? And again, if you look at the AP Top 25, which again I know has a bunch of flaws and there's a bunch of issues with it, and I don't even disagree with that. But dude, there's no denying that playing Notre Dame helps you. There's no question that the committee, both the AP writers and the CFP committee, say, okay, who played Notre Dame? Was that a win or a loss? Either way, it's a good game for you. You lose to Notre Dame, oh yeah, good loss there, bud. You beat Notre Dame, that's a quality victory. So every Notre Dame hater wants to lean on this and will until they're in the ground, bro. And everybody else who is reasonable in college football will just say, hey, yeah, you know what? Like, there's not a true advantage, and it's not Notre Dame's fault that Penn State or Indiana last year or Boise State or any of those people couldn't beat a team that really didn't have anything at quarterback except a running back. That's not Notre Dame's fault, dude.
Nope.
So let's spend time talking about losing to a team with one arm tied behind its back rather than them joining a conference. And I'm not even a Notre Dame fan, by the way. Just want to point that out.
Joey, when does Notre Dame's NBC contract end? Well, we just renewed 2 years ago.
Notice he said
2023. Our deal, the one that I believe Rudy Rudiger negotiated it through 2028, I want to say. So we got some time. Greg Hawkins, only Notre Dame has made independence work. It works better for them than joining a conference would. Totally agree. Danny Dixon. Ho, ho!
Hey, Danny Dixon.
Having to play a 13th game if playing the title game. Truth.
Notre Dame are
wow. Monty owes a ribeye.
Wow, bro.
Hello.
Welcome back to the show, dude. What, you just decided today was a good day to cook a ribeye and turn on the old YouTube channel, or what? Is that what this is?
There was a guy at, man, I don't remember where we were. Oh, we were at this, my wife's friend makes these crochet things that say terrible things like 0 F's to give, which is the one I bought because I just don't
through all that.
have any. And they had a smoker. And this guy was smoking ribeyes. And that black pepper, corn, fat, grease dripping smell?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Bro, smelled so good. Hey, look at that. Texas Tech, Utah State champions. Rack 'em. Pew, pew. Wrecked them, damn near killed them. Pew, pew. Let's go. Number 1 Big 12 team. Number 1 in your hearts. Woo! CFP. Feel good, Texas Tech fan. Don't let down this week. Don't zero blitz and Laramie this week. Please, I'm begging you. I'm begging you. D-Rock, it's been playoff every game after 0-2. Well, it really has been. It really has been a playoff game every single game. There's just no doubt about it. Notre Dame as a basketball team, not really.
Their hockey team is better, bro.
Bro, the hockey unis are better
by far.
I'm so broke, you guys. If I had money, I'd have everything Notre Dame. I don't even have a Notre Dame quarter zip, which is saying something. Joey Harper, how about the Seahawks this weekend? I said, goddamn. Miss Geno Smith? No, not at all. There will be a lot more independence if the Pac-12 fails. Ooh,
yeah.
Don't say that.
Yep.
Johnny Gonzalez, Notre Dame independence is diversity, and we're just not there yet as a sports consuming contingent. Don't even disagree with that.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, we want everyone to be in a conference, and we want it all to be perfectly organized. And if it's not perfectly organized, then we're going to lose our minds.
You see this right here? It's called common sense.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Schwarber signing with the Cubs, Notre Dame.
That's never going to happen, dude.
Can I dream, please?
No.
Yeah, thanks.
No. Nope.
Phenomenal Hebrew. I wouldn't be surprised one year the Notre Lames get the playoff with 3 losses.
Okay, you're a Penn State fan.
I'm sorry, who?
Yeah, a cock on thigh fan.
Knuckle Deep Boys.
And Knuckle Deep Boys, Pederast Valley. And you're sitting here calling Notre Dame Notre Lame.
Listen, I felt bad as the
Bro.
child molester boys.
Come on.
I hate Kurt Cignetti. He's generally one of those guys that you're like, dude, like you're an asshole.
Google
But
me.
I cannot tell you how happy I was that they pulled the knuckles out. Like that
Right.
they just went all in on beating Pedo State. Like
Right.
to absolutely eliminate Epstein Island this weekend. Fernando Mendoza for Heisman, baby. If the scheduling agreement with the ACC counts, they would still not be an independent. Stop. Okay. The Notre Dame guzzling all the way, not even in the throat, into the lungs, bro.
Bro,
You
guys are filthy, bro. Oh yeah, you're out here slurping Notre Dame, Monty.
all day. Happy to admit it. Think Fight will be keeping an SEC out over Notre Dame in a plus a group of I don't know. I mean, if I look at the rankings and you look at where this all plays
Mm-hmm.
and you start looking at who's in and who's out,
Virginia's not going to be there, dude. Come on.
not anymore. That ship sailed now.
Come on.
Right? You look at Memphis is out. You look at Virginia's out. And now BYU currently is out.
Mm-hmm.
So if we really start looking at who's in and who's out, Texas and Oklahoma, do they have any important games this weekend, you guys? I don't know ball.
I don't know. You don't know ball, and Kirby doesn't agree with you on good old Archie. But yeah, I think Texas has an important game this week.
Do you guys think Oklahoma has an important game this week?
John Matt's here.
John Matt's here, and those boy, they head to Bryant Denny Stadium, boy. You think that game's at all important?
I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, baby.
I mean, if you and seriously, Jake, the Kirby Smart comment.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Kirby watches the show, but if you guys ever have wanted to see somebody throat another person, here's Kirby throating me.
Yeah, he's playing with more confidence. I think number one, he's getting better protection. He's seeing things well. He's making good decisions. He's getting the ball out of his hand quickly. He's maturing. He's had an opportunity to play and grow, and you don't really get that until you get out there and play. He played a good bit last year, but the kind of games he's had to play in this year, just a different stature in terms of the SEC gauntlet. And just you watch game by game. I watched yesterday each game throughout the year and watched him just grow and play better. He's extending plays. He's doing really well with scrambles. Keeps his eyes downfield. He doesn't look at the rush. He's made some really impressive wow throws, and they're playing better offensively.
Monty doesn't know ball. I mean, doesn't know ball. I mean, it just is what it is, dude.
It turns out that Arch Manning doesn't suck. And I know that disappoints a lot of you. This Texas-Georgia game. Oh, my God.
Did it move when you saw this on the schedule?
Stay hard. Yes.
Stay hard.
Yes. Thank you, Jake. I got to tell you guys, I think Bama at 3:30, Georgia, Texas, as the late game, if you will, 7:30. I mean, this is everything that we want. This is the game. I am so stoked for this weekend. If you look at how, because I thought the games this weekend were pretty boring outside of a couple.
I'm sorry, they were what?
Pretty boring.
Is the terminology you were looking for.
This was not good.
We keeping a buck right now. We ass.
Come on.
Right?
One of those weeks.
It was not good. And I think that you start looking at where all of this is headed, and you start to understand that, bro, this weekend we have multiple massive football games that you just cannot ignore. You can't overlook. And I am so excited for these two games. It is. And then I think you have like some other lower tier games, like Wisconsin, Indiana is a really important game. BYU and TCU, really important game. Jetta and Baylor. How about Notre Dame and Pitt? Where's my guy, King of Thailand? Notre Dame and Pitt this weekend.
Is with all these games, because I do agree the slate is deep, and we'll get into it as the week goes on, obviously. But does the ESPN YouTube TV dispute get figured out? Because I got to tell you,
I got a lot on that.
The $20, manual credit that I have to go and get now is a little ridiculous, dude. You can't auto bill my account. You can't. And this is what annoys me about YouTube TV. I have to say, I like the functionality, the multi-box. It's easy to use. I can get it on my phone.
Lilu Dallas multi-box.
Yeah, right. Lilu Dallas multi-pass. I mean, multi-box, multi-channel, all at once. It's amazing. But the idea that YouTube TV is scheming to not get everybody that discount by making you do it manually is incredible. And I love the fact, or I think it's funny, that people were so quick to crucify ESPN and say that this was an ESPN problem. But who's really money hungry in this situation? I should not have to click a link and go in and claim it on my account and do all of that. That is absolute nonsense, in my opinion. Totally ridiculous.
I think it is incredibly disappointing that we continue to be in the middle of these fights. And I'm just going to continue to keep saying that I hate what sports television has become.
Mm-hmm.
I hate what it's become. And I will just continue to evangelize for a single tier option. One platform that gives us all the games we need, because
how much would you pay for something like that, though? Because I think that's always been the barrier, right? That's always been people's
$25 a month. I'd pay $25 a month if I could get NBC, ABC, ESPN, Fox, everything in one thing.
So you would just have the sports channels. You wouldn't have like hundreds of channels, but you would just have the main ones.
This weekend we watched The Diplomat on Netflix. I don't need YouTube TV, man. I'll be honest with you. I don't need it. I don't want it. Knowing kind of the inside on what this dispute is over, it's no longer arguable that this is on YouTube TV being greedy. YouTube TV knows that more of us are leaving YouTube TV to go direct to consumer.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are trying to ratchet up the pain on ESPN. And what this is really doing is ESPN, and the ratings will come out and you'll see it. ESPN is seeing a discernible bump in subscriptions. And because you're not going to, do you understand how big these two games are? Do you understand this, just this coming weekend?
Yes.
This coming weekend, Clemson, Louisville, Notre Dame, Pitt, Utah, Baylor, TCU, BYU, South Carolina, Texas A&M, Oklahoma at Alabama, Virginia, Duke, NC State, Miami. Then you have SEC Network in New Mexico State, Tennessee, Florida, Ole Miss, Texas at Georgia, and Mississippi State at Missouri. That's just in the top 25 of college football this coming week.
How did you watch this week? Obviously, you watched the ESPN app this weekend through GTC. Yes. But what was the setup? Because this is what I think the fascinating part of the conversation is. Because for me, obviously, so like I was streaming gaming content on Saturday and like watching college football. But why was I doing that? Because I was already going to be watching on my phone. And it basically makes it, at least for me, to where I don't want to have to because the thing with the ESPN app on TV is it's a little clunky. It's a little clunky to have to to kind of click on one game, then click out of that game, then get to another. Like it doesn't work quite as well as the YouTube TV app does on TVs yet, but I do think ESPN will tune it up. It is miles better on a mobile device or on desktop. And that's
ESPN.
what I think is really the ESPN app. Yes.
Well, I have a Fire TV. I have a 75-inch Fire TV, and it works perfectly for me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I also have 2 gig internet, so I have no internet problems. But I'm telling you, the rubber's going to meet the road here, because college basketball this weekend, a lot of college basketball picks up. And the majority of big games in college basketball, I think UConn BYU is on Fox, but a lot of those games are on ESPN and ABC. Monday Night Football tonight, Eagles and Packers in a huge game, ABC and ESPN.
Why are you choosing to mess with ESPN? That's what I don't get. Why is it that YouTube TV and really Google, obviously, are choosing to go after ESPN, I mean CBS, I mean NBC, I mean any of the carriage disputes that they've had? Because everyone, I see like Rex and a bunch of other people are like, oh, this is on ESPN, this is Disney's fault. And I'm just wondering, how is that the viewpoint based on the behavior? I mean, you are, I'm sorry, is ESPN the one offering a discount on their services? Or is YouTube TV the one that's scheming to make sure that people don't take advantage of the perceived discount they did offer? Because I have to tell you, that really bothers me. It should be an auto credit on your account. Hey, we're lowering the price of YouTube TV for you for this month by, what did they say it was? I think like $20. Okay, great. Cool. You want to auto do that? And I don't have to put any effort in, and I don't have to take 5 minutes out of my day? Awesome. But I have to tell you, the only reason I have YouTube TV right now is for the Sunday ticket. That's it. If I didn't care about any other games in the NFL, if I didn't care about watching the Dolphins absolutely dismantle the Bills or any of the stuff that happened in the league over the weekend, I wouldn't have YouTube TV. And if this doesn't get taken care of, I imagine it will. But if this were not to get taken care of by the end of the NFL season, before the playoffs start, I'm probably out. I know you're already out, but I'm probably out at that point.
And ESPN and ABC thought they had a deal last Thursday. And the terms from YouTube TV, allegedly, from what I understand, the terms from YouTube TV changed again. And what they want is exclusive sports events on YouTube TV. That's really what this argument's coming down to, and they're not going to give it to them. Here's the deal.
Here's the deal. I'm the worst there is.
You can't complain about YouTube not having ESPN because of price, and if they do complain that YouTube is raising prices, they both are at fault for the issue. But if you're ESPN, you have a business model that's delivering it directly to consumers. Why, when you have every major sports league, would you pay a higher premium to YouTube TV than anybody else is paying to YouTube TV? That's what I don't understand.
And you're the biggest player in the game.
And you're one of the reasons people subscribe to YouTube TV, right? I canceled my YouTube TV. No ESPN, no reason to have it. They don't have the Jazz 16 or K-Jazz or Marquee or MLB Network, so I can't watch any of my teams. It's the Cubs thing is incredibly frustrating. And I'll also tell you, being in a major league market now, the blackouts are brutal on YouTube TV. Brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. ESPN is a monopoly. They should be broken up. They don't have a monopoly on any of their leagues. I don't think they're a monopoly at all. I think it's just the opposite.
How is ESPN a monopoly, bro?
It's the other way around. YouTube just increased prices, and Disney came to them demanding them to pay. No, they didn't. No. This entire dispute, they resolved the fee structure long ago. This entire dispute is about content sharing and the fact that The original dispute went back to the launch of the All Sports app that eventually fell apart. You get that deal done. Now you're on to this deal. This entire dispute is about YouTube TV not wanting to let go of ESPN in the long term. And ESPN and Disney, I mean, you're arguing right now. This is a streaming argument. It's not a fee structure argument anymore. They want to make sure, because the other thing I think that people forget is that YouTube TV has a big portfolio of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And what YouTube TV, the struggle and the reason that YouTube TV is struggling to remain profitable is I can get HBO Max through a number of different services. But if I'm a Amazon Prime Video subscriber, I almost don't have to go anywhere else.
Right.
Because they offer me access to everything through Prime, which is what YouTube TV is trying to do. And nobody's playing ball with them on it because it's so incredibly expensive to do business with Alphabet, Google, who owns YouTube. And of course, the other big part of this is the revenue sharing through ads. And the fact that Google, YouTube, and YouTube TV don't want to disclose their ad revenue in full. And that's just not the way the game is played.
No, it's
like,
not.
You had an agreement. You got uncomfortable with it at the 11th hour. And so now here we are.
Yeah, and that's what bothers me is that it's like, oh, we're gonna wait till the very end, and then we're gonna try and blow this up and get more money, and it just is. It's. My opinion is that it's Bush League tactics out of YouTube TV. It's the classic. Hey, we've got an agreement. We're all coming to the table at this time and day to sign it, and then you roll up to the table and you're like, yeah, we're gonna need a couple mil more a year, whatever the number is, and if you don't give it to us now, we're gonna withhold, and you're gonna lose a bunch of viewership from YouTube TV and yada, 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 yada. And I sit here and I say, dude, I use YouTube TV for one of three things, and that's it. College football, the NFL, obviously, and the recording library for Chicago PD. That's it. I don't watch my local news. I don't watch anything else. Anything else that I'm watching is in another app. It's either I spend a lot of time in the Paramount Plus app because I love the shows they're producing right now. Rewatching stuff like Stranger Things or whatever it might be, given the time of year. Like that's what we're doing. We're not. I'm not like, oh man, dude, you're my all-in-one solution, and I'm treating this like cable, and I'm just constantly. That's not how it works, and that, to me, is why this is an Alphabet problem, not an ESPN problem, because ESPN, as usual, is in the modern days, and YouTube TV is trying to wrangle them in. And it's like, dude, like, at what point do you just say, all right, cool, we need to get this figured out and be done with this? At what point does it start taking a hit to your reputation?
Yeah, and I think it's a really difficult bit for Google to swallow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is so difficult. Like all the things you just talked about are essentially available through Peacock.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they're single. I think the one thing saving YouTube TV is the NFL Sunday Ticket. And I can't cancel YouTube TV or I will lose access to the rest of the season of NFL Sunday Ticket. That's it. That's the only reason I haven't canceled. Landman will be starting up again soon. Indeed, it will.
Yeah,
The Diplomat
show.
If you guys haven't watched The Diplomat, it's 3 seasons and it's getting a 4th season, by the way. I'm a little frustrated with, I don't know if I'm the only one here who watches The Diplomat. I'm a little frustrated with that storyline right now. Like that she went back to her husband really pisses me off.
Yeah.
Again. And yeah, the end was a little predictable.
Again.
Yeah. Jake not impressed with the Eugene/Portland local news affiliates.
I mean, not particularly, bro.
Because it's garbage.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Chewy, Munitaka Murakami going to join that. Well, where are they going to play him? This is a deal with Murakami, the Japanese sensation who at like 14 years old just broke the single season Japanese home run record. I think.
What is this, golf now? Jesus.
But no, seriously, I am curious to understand if Murakami joins the Dodgers, where do you play him? Because you just re-signed Max Muncy.
Mm-hmm.
Shohei has probably got another year or two in pitching, and then he is a full-time DH. You're long time with Freddie at first. You're done. He cannot play the outfield. He is not athletic enough, and he is barely serviceable at third base. And you just signed an all-world defender in Max Muncy for third base. You have nowhere to play him, and the Yankees have nowhere to play him because you've got 37 DHs on that roster. And he does not fix your problem at third base. He just doesn't. So, and I think you would much rather have Cody Bellinger return to the Yankees than Murakami, because it's probably going to cost you $50 million to get Murakami.
Yeah.
Murakami, rather. I think it's Murakami. I apologize. So, I think that's a huge issue. Huge issue. Right, but you optioned him for one season, but you're not going to pay $50 million for a guy not to play. And the biggest question is, can he be an everyday third baseman? Because it doesn't look like he can. Based on the tape that we've all seen now of him playing third in Japan, he's not a good enough thrower. And that glove is...
sketch.
And the Cubs have nowhere to play him because we have Matt Shaw, dude.
Yeah, but here's the difference, dude. And you know, you guys know this. The Cubs aren't seriously trying to go after these guys. That's what's so frustrating is all jokes and ball busting aside, the Cubs are not doing what they should be doing. I mean, they could easily be a legitimate World Series threat now, but they won't because they, I guess, want to remain more profitable, apparently.
Kyle Tucker is going to get $400 million, and it won't be from the Cubs. That's the only saving grace that I have.
Yeah,
because it's remarkable to me.
Yeah.
Monty pissed at Kate in regard to Hal in The Diplomat. Yeah, you know what? She should not have, and she begged him. You knew as soon as she turned down sex from that spy dude in her chambers that she was not. Come on,
her chambers.
Yeah, she was in English. You have to watch the show.
Yeah.
We'll get Bellinger on top of Murakami. Bellinger is better than Tucker. I think Bellinger's also injury prone.
And super streaky.
And I think the biggest question is, does he want to play center field anymore? Because the Dodgers also, you have to understand, have some weird pieces fit into their ecosystem right now. You clearly have to get better in the bullpen. And they're going to have to spend some money. And I think there are some people who believe Mookie Betts is available. That makes some sense because you're not trading any of your corners, right? You need, my opinion is, if you sign Cody Bellinger, he's got to play left field or first base because he's an excellent first baseman that can spell Freddie and keep Freddie fresher. But I think that's going to be very interesting to see how that Dodgers puzzle fits together. Tucker has the personality of a wet paper towel.
Yeah,
and
Mr. All-World Calisthenics in right field between pitches,
Bro, he was terrible for us. Like, he's one of the main reasons that lineup fell apart. Yeah. So we just pretend to invest in care, but we always lowball every free agent. Truth. Well, you're playing at Wrigley Field. Take less money. Yeah, they don't care about that.
Do I remember you saying, right, that you did not renew the spring training tickets this year?
We did not. Well, because there's only 2 Saturday games in Mesa this year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing that. And we lost money on the Cubs season spring training tickets last year.
But the regular season ones did good.
Dude, we crushed.
Yeah.
On the bleacher seats. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We did. I mean, no, we lost a ton of money on those too.
Terrible investment. Yeah, awful. Hey, nice Louis bag, by the way. Thanks.
Jake would need to pay $1.99 a month on YouTube for Monty's new Diplomat show. Dude, it is so good. It is so good. I'm telling you. Cam Rising Memorial Game this Saturday. Yes, at Baylor. Yeah, I don't know what that other word is. Gaylor. Like, bro.
Be better, dude. Come on.
That is so you. Yeah. I want to play this bite by Lane Kiffin because I think this is fascinating. Jake said that it moved a little bit when he heard this. The funny thing is, Jake and I are sending each other the same videos now because we're just so locked on each other's mind. Yeah.
I'm not locked on anything, bro.
Locked on money. Yeah.
Okay.
Jake, do you like Lane Kiffin?
I do. Yes.
So you've kind of come around on that.
Yeah, I think he's a really good head coach. Yeah, I think he's definitely developed and matriculated.
Lanning or Lane?
Lanning right now because he's been to the CFP. And I'm sorry, reference it correctly, dude. It's not Lanning. It's the Lanimal.
The cucumber or Lane?
The cucumber by a lot.
You're such a jerk.
People used to say, okay, when people wanted to hire you or something and interview and what questions do you have? What are your concerns? Okay. People used to say, facilities, how many practice fields, those things. And I said, I don't think, I think that's changed. It's going to change. And it's going to be how much NIL do you have? When it was all collective, how is your collective? How's it run? How much do you have? Because that's before this, that was the salary cap, meaning that's how much money you're going to have. And some people sometimes think, well, okay, that's not a big deal, but just look at professional sports when it's not the same, like baseball and the payrolls, and over time, who wins and who doesn't win. And somebody may have outlier years once in a while, but, and so now that's a little equaled out, but there's still, how much are you giving to Rev, to your football program? And then how much do you have collective wise? I think it's a big question.
Jake, what makes a good job for a head coach?
Right now, it's all about NIL and money. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, I think he's 100% correct that it used to be facilities. It used to be, everything that Oak State James, dreamed and lived for, but it no longer is. It's about NIL. It's about money. It's about the administration's willingness to fund a program, because the reality is, if you don't have the talent, you can't even get to where you need to go. If you don't have the talent, see BYU at quarterback currently, you don't have the ability to win the ball games that you want to win, no matter how good your coaching staff is. And I maintain that the jobs across the country that you look at, let's just take BYU as an example. There's a million different programs, Utah, whatever you want to look at. You're in the game, but you don't have the talent at quarterback. Bear Bachmeier be damned, right? Baron Morton be damned. If you don't have the money to go out and get the talent you need to get, you're not going to win ball games and go to the CFP regularly.
I would agree with that.
So what makes a good job? Well, as usual, it's always been ultimately money, because I also don't, and Lane's never going to speak on this publicly, right? That's an unfair expectation. But we all know that paying players and, player benefits, as they used to be called, were a lot more than just what the food table was after the game. We all know that. So I just think that what makes a good job in today's football world is, what kind of funding are you giving the head coach to go get players? What second to that, what kind of stadium do you have? Is it nice? Is it crappy? Is it a big environment? Is it not?
I don't know if I agree with that. I think it is 100%. I think it's 100% NIL. And in the leader, there's no doubt. How much money do you have to pay players? I think that's number one. Number two, I think it's who your head coach is. And if you're Lane Kiffin, that matters. So I think it is NIL. The coach that's powering that program is just as important as the money. And I think after that, it's your access to the college football playoff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can talk about, because I think uniforms are more important than facilities. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think kids care far more because you look at the Rose Bowl. I've talked about this. If UCLA is serious about spending $20.5 million in revenue sharing and $30 or $40 million in NIL per season, and then your $30 more million in salary, like, are you willing to spend $500 million a year on football? It's as simple as that. And the good jobs are willing to do that. Mm-hmm. The not good jobs are not willing to do that. And your stadium at UCLA, if UCLA is willing to pay a coach $15 million a year and another 5 to 7 on his coaching staff, 20.5 on rev share, 30 probably more million on NIL,
mm-hmm.
you are going to have awesome campus facilities. Your stadium sucks at the Rose Bowl on a week in, week out basis. But what does UCLA do? They have a Jordan deal, so you get as many and as much Air Jordan product, and not okay. Probably the best Jordan brand deal in the country is at UCLA.
Right.
It's not at Oregon. Everybody assumes, well, it's Phil Knight. What is Oregon? Oregon's a Nike school. Oregon's a Nike school. Florida, North Carolina, and UCLA are the 3 best Jordan brand schools in the country.
Right.
And they get P's, they get every shoe that comes out. You can quite literally have your Nike rep get you whatever shoe you want. And Nike gets a tax, or Jordan brand gets a tax write-off for that. That's NIL income for you, and it is automatically approved.
Yeah.
It is. So if you think about it, if UCLA legitimately is going to spend a ton more money on NIL, they're going to get a ton of players. They're going to get a ton of players. And they're going to get, because now for sure, like the Jerry Neuheisel thing's cool. That shit came to an end. You're getting torched by everybody, right? You're going to hire a really good head coach. And then I look at Florida and I say to myself, Lane Kiffin's taken the Florida job. I have almost no doubt about it.
And I think that's the correct decision for him.
Yes.
Lane to Florida makes a lot of sense.
I think he's taken the Florida job. He's probably going to get $20 million a year. He's probably going to have $7 to $10 million for staff.
Man, you think he gets 20?
Yes. Well, because you're going to have to pay him to get him out of Oxford.
Yeah.
He's got it good at Ole Miss.
Well, outside of the fact that Ole Miss is a second-tier SEC program compared to Florida,
but he's made it a top tier. Ole Miss today is a better program than Florida. There's no question about that.
Okay, caveats though. Ole Miss is never going to be a better job or a better program than Florida with its tradition and heritage.
There's no question, Jake. The ceiling is higher at Florida.
Way higher. National championship high.
But right now, it's a terrible job. They're not winning. They're not talented. They benched their quarter. DJ Lagway got benched.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good job right now. But that's where you pay Lane Kiffin $20 million and you pay his staff $7 to $10 million.
What kind of buyout would you give Lane Kiffin, though? Because that's going to be the thing. We all know the buyout thing is a big deal right now.
It's going to be a massive buy. It's going to be the totality of his contract the first 3 years.
Yeah. Well, he's got Jimmy repping him, so you know what it is.
I mean, there's no doubt about that. But all I'm saying is, I think facilities and the new Swamp and their facilities attached to it, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You already know at LSU, you're playing at Death Valley. Amazing. So are those better jobs than UCLA? Of course they are. But what makes a good job now is the rate of ascension. UCLA could be one of the best jobs in the country like that. LSU and Florida will be 2 of the best jobs in the country a year from now.
Would you pay Lane 20? Because
Yes.
the highest paid head coach in football, I think, is making like 13, 14.
No. If you look at the money, I think his total compensation will be $20 million a year. And if you look at AAVs, obviously.
Yeah, AAVs, not total comp.
So,
AAVs.
Right. But if you're paying, I think Kirby Smart's the highest paid coach in college football at $13 million.
Yeah.
His total comp is well north of 20. His bonuses,
So we're talking AAVs, just so we're all on the same page.
I would pay Lane Kiffin $15 million a year. I would make him dude, you're Florida and you want to win. You got to make him the highest paid coach in college football.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no question about that.
If you pay him 15, the total comp's gonna eclipse 20. I would agree with that.
I think that's very true. But you look at Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley's, I think his total compensation is like 16 and a half. And that motherfucker, he hasn't won a big game.
Yeah, and I don't think he's anywhere close to Lane Kiffin, in my opinion.
Right. I totally agree with that. But if you look at Ryan Day, I think is clearing like $25 million a year last year because he won the national championship.
As he should.
Right? Like their bonuses are huge. Their extracurriculars, their Nike money,
and he has a lot of leverage as the guy coming in to fix Florida. Honestly.
Yes. So, I think you have to pay him.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin's probably got to get $15 million to leave there. His total comp number is going to be outlandish. And I go back and I talk about things like UCLA. I look at the rate of ascension. Florida can win a national championship next year.
Yeah.
LSU can win a national championship next year. UCLA is probably a 3-year rebuild.
But honestly, I mean, this is not a great look for LSU right now.
But if they leave the Rose Bowl, it gets significantly better. But anyway.
This nonsense with not paying Brian Kelly the full buyout agreement is ridiculous, in my opinion, at LSU. You can't have... You and I initially, early on in the process, disagreed about LSU being the top job in the market. And I was saying that it hurts you that the governor is doing what the governor is doing, and it's kind of turned into a mess.
Yeah.
But now I'm curious. They're unwilling to pay BK his $53 million buyout, and they are refusing to settle. They have BK is refusing to settle. He wants his full money for obvious reasons. I think by the day, as long as he is not paid, that job gets worse and worse by the day due to that stuff.
But what is another part of the equation? The president and the athletic director and your staff and infrastructure, the chancellors, the board of regents.
You mean the acting athletic director or the full-time one? Because I'm not sure who's who at this point.
The problem is what hurts the value of the LSU job is you got to deal with the governor.
Yeah.
You don't know who you report to. I'm not in for that.
Well, I'm sure the paper says you report to the AD, but let's be real.
I'm sure it does. Right?
That's
but it just, yes, Paxton, that's exactly right. Good jobs have good athletic directors and presidents.
Yep.
That's exactly right. Toot, $15 million a year, Lane Kiffin climaxed. I'm sure he did. Yeah, natural. I think it's $15 million a year. Plus, Lane would get all the Gatorade he would ever want. Yeah, they founded Gatorade of Florida. Lane ain't leaving Oxford without a Buc-ee's deal. Totally agree. Right? I mean,
yeah,
it's incredible. All right, let's come back and talk about another bad weekend for a certain sect of National Football League fandom that I'm here for. I'm here for it. And speaking of it moved. Oh, it moved when he went under center, boys. We'll talk about the Chicago Bears in 30 seconds.
When you've been injured in an accident, one thing leads to another. Your injury leads to treatment. Treatment leads to hospital bills. Bills lead to debt. Debt leads to stress. The advocates can help relieve that stress. Having an advocate attorney on your side leads to faster resolutions, fair outcomes, and a peaceful recovery for you. You deserve an advocate.
Yes, you do deserve an advocate 24/7, 365 days a year. The advocates are ready to serve you. And when I say serve you, they're going to give you clear, risk-free advice. And you're never going to reach out into your pocket to get it. And I talk about it a lot with, this past Halloween. Here we are in Thanksgiving season. I got a notification from Amazon today that Black Friday deals on Amazon begin in 10 days. The roads are crazy. The malls are crazy. People are shopping. People are doing this. Kids are out doing that. Slow down and be careful because traffic's going to be hectic. Look at the way the airlines are working right now. Holiday driving is going to be off the absolute chain. If the worst happens, get ready. Theadvocates.com, because they're ready to serve you right now. They're ready to fight your insurance company. Hand them the claims process. They fought that fight. More importantly for you, they've won that fight. The Advocates at theadvocates.com. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. All right. It was a very, very, very bad weekend for the Caleb Williams sucks crowd. And I tell you, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I continue to tell you, Caleb Williams is a star. And is he ever going to be the most accurate passer in the NFL? No, he's not. But it's hard to argue at this point that this kid's not a winner. And he's in year 2. And he is pacing to be the all-time leader single season passing for the Chicago Bears. And they are winning games. We have a long way to go. But the Chicago Bears are winning games. And they're winning games because of Caleb Williams. And I love this argument because there's so many people that want to tell you, oh, Caleb Williams is the reason they're losing. He's a bust. He sucks. Yeah, it turns out he doesn't suck. It turns out that when you put Caleb Williams under center, and I know Monty ain't been talking about that, but since last Friday, you put Caleb Williams under center and good things happen. Jake, I don't even know that you can have the conversation anymore. This kid is a minted superstar in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the development is finally starting to happen. You know, there were a lot of highlights, a lot of behind the scenes from the bench. There was a lot of different angles of that game-winning play. And, you know, I just think it's not even that he made the play itself, right? Because the play itself was a great play, right? He looked totally prepared, knew what he wanted to do. I think the play stands for itself, you know, on its own. There's not really anything much more you got to say other than he did a great job. But I think before that, I saw a video today on, I think it was on the official NFL account on Twitter, it might have been, you know, where in the huddle before the play, he's telling the guys what to do. Like, not the play call, but just like, hey, offensive linemen, blow these guys off the ball. Like, wide receivers, do your job, get your blocks. Like,
catch the ball.
Like, you can see that he understands what he's getting to that point now in the offense where he's mastered what the play in totality should be. Not just like, hey, like, you're the X and you're the Z and you're the Y and this is how many O-linemen. Like, it's more like, hey, this is what we're trying to do. This is the deception we're trying to create in play action. Because like you mentioned earlier, it was a great play action. They got the defense going the wrong way, which opened it up for him on the left side of the field. And it's great to see. It is absolutely great to see. And I think he's playing better. I still think that the Bears have a lot of work to do talent-wise, but you can see if they get that talent and they are smart about this over the next 2 years, that they should be a playoff team. They should. There should be to me, a clear, like, hey, we're here today, but we're also going up and to the right on this climb. We're not I look around the league this year and you know, there's so many teams that are just doing nothing with the talent they have, whether that's the Jets, the Browns, you know, the Jags,
the Giants
firing Dayball today. Like it's year after year that there's these organizations that it's like, oh my God, draft day, incredible. Put the hat on him. Number 1 overall pick. Incredible. We're saved. But then you get like 10 weeks into the season, 8 weeks into the season. It's like, yeah, you guys are still ass. Nothing's really changed. And Jackson Dart's in concussion protocol. So it's nice to see the Bears actually go out, get a new head coach, get a new staff, you know, develop Caleb Williams, get this team and this offense moving in the right direction. And it's nice to be able to say, yeah, you know what? Like, if this keeps up, if we add talent, we're going to be in a much better place. And that, I think, is the biggest win coming out of that game.
Well, the Bears had 9 throws that were incomplete that qualified as drops. They were credited with 7, I believe it was. But when you start looking at Caleb's line, yesterday people were pointing, well, he was only 20 of 36, Monty.
What do you mean only 20 of 36, bro?
But if you put 8 more throws in there, if he goes 28 of 36, that's 77% completions.
Yeah.
And I just thought he was, I think he is rapidly improving. And it's not saying much that I think he is really close already to being the best quarterback that the Bears have ever had. And he may at some point. What?
You got to win playoff games before you can say that.
Okay, well, who's better?
Yeah.
I'm taking him over Jay Cutler, who, I mean, most people would tell you by statistics, Jay Cutler's the best quarterback we've ever had. I think he's close.
But you can't. Yeah, I just don't. I wouldn't say that yet. I agree there's not many guys you would take over him, but let the guy win something first. Let him do something first.
I think it would also be nice if Urlacher and Briggs were on his defense.
Yeah.
Now, I think the defense played significantly better yesterday. The Giants are a dreadful football team.
Trubisky had you in the NFC Championship game, excluding the kicker.
Yeah,
so
but Mitch never developed.
Well,
Mitch hit his ceiling very early in his Bears career, and a lot of it was the offense and the design.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch never developed, and now he's gone on from you and not developed. He's regressed. Justin Fields hit a ceiling very early, and again, I totally think the Bears screwed him. He's not developed or gotten better. He's the same quarterback he was.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult. It is very difficult to argue. The only guy you would argue is Jay Cutler, because Jim McMahon was not a great quarterback, and most people try to point. Jim McMahon was not a great quarterback. He was
Rex Grossman's not doing it for you.
He was a good quarterback, but
Kyle Orton.
Listen, my point is, the Bears yesterday played much better defensively. I mean, the hit that knocked Jackson Dart out of that game
nasty
was
work.
a textbook mean physical defensive play. What we're getting out of Sweat right now, what we're getting out of some of the linebackers, like, the problem is we don't cover well. And yeah, we have a bunch of dudes hurt, but who doesn't? My point is, get this kid a defense next year. The offensive line is significantly better than we thought they would be. And I think you start looking at what we're getting at right tackle, and it's 3 weeks in a row now that we have seen Darnell Wright absolutely end people's careers. And yesterday he did it to the best defensive or the best sacker of the quarterback in the NFL, in Burns. I mean, this is getting crazy now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you gotta get him a defense. You've got to get him a defense.
And they will. They will.
Unfortunately, leading passer in Chicago ain't the highest bar. Totally agree. Ryan Poles needs to fix the defense. If Wilson doesn't come in the game, do we win it? But he did, because you knocked Jackson Dart out of the game with a really nasty hit. So, Kurt Myers, Bear for president. Come on, guy. Come on. Jonathan Taylor's so good. Yes, he is. Danny Dimes. There's a lot of this going on in the NFL right now. Guys getting out of shitty situations and going to good situations. And now listen, the Colts defense kind of let you down yesterday. And it's because Bijan just keeps dominating. I don't understand why they're not giving Bijan Robinson the ball more.
Because they're a terrible organization. That's why.
I want to understand it. And maybe that's true. Michael Penix is not a good quarterback right now. Michael Penix is a very not good quarterback. Danny Dimes yesterday, 19 of 26, 255, a pick and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, 32 carries, 244 yards and 3 scores.
Workhorse.
And he's healthy. And I think Daniel Jones throwing the ball to Ty Warren and Jonathan Taylor, I'm just going to continue to tell you guys, and BYU saw this the other day. You've got to, when you have a quarterback who's finding himself, let him throw the ball in the middle of the field, especially behind the linebacker. And they're using Jonathan Taylor to bring the linebackers up, and they're getting Warren on out routes and over routes, and I think it's working spectacularly well. And if you can find this rhythm for Danny Dimes in December, I think the Colts are going to be a problem. They're 8-2.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I think they're 8-2 is pretty legit, man. I think there was a lot of talk about the Broncos not being a legitimate 8-win team after that embarrassing performance against the Raiders on Thursday Night Football. And, I think Danny Dimes has looked really good and has looked prepared and has looked ready and has led this team. And I think he's doing great work.
Yeah.
The difference is that I think scheduling wise, the Colts are in a pretty solid position. They need to stay consistent and finish this season out. But it'll be curious to see like how some of these teams do, once they get into that playoff environment. When Danny Dimes is in the divisional round, let's say, or wherever they wind up, and you come out for that first drive. Are you the same team? Are you the same guy leading your team? You should be, but Danny Dimes hasn't had a lot of opportunities that way. So that to me is the only question if you're a Colts fan is what's he like in the playoffs?
Yeah, we're going to see his progress against the Vikings this weekend. J.J. McCarthy is so not good.
Trash, dude.
Another front leg locker. Another quarterback who locks that front leg and just cannot throw you to a win.
Because
he's no Sid Luckman, but he'll do exactly.
Right.
Jay Cutler, probably the one and only only one in the conversation. Probably. Jimmy Mack and the Hogs were the cream of the crop in their day. They were. The Chicago Bears. Oh, you mean the Arlington Heights Bears?
Don't even get me started, dude.
How about the Clowns versus the Jets? Oh my God. Did you see Dylan Gabriel yesterday?
Are we going to investigate him for gambling accusations too? With how bad those throws were? And I would also point out, at what point does Shedeur Sanders get an opportunity?
I don't know that he does. Honest to God, if you're not starting him this week.
I mean, how can you say that putting Shedeur Sanders in the game just to see what it looks like is not a reasonable idea after how awful Dylan Gabriel was? And again, I'm just going to keep saying it, dude. The Falcons, the Browns, bad organizations draft left-handed quarterbacks and think they're going to change the narrative, and they're not. And again, it's tried and true, bro. Left-handed quarterbacks are not that guy, pal. You got a left-handed quarterback, you are not going places. And I'm sorry, it just is what it is, bro. And I get it that Penix is a gifted thrower, and Dylan Gabriel was heralded as this great quarterback out of Oregon. And at the college level, you can get away with that nonsense.
Yeah.
But at the NFL level, you're not getting away with it. And it really bothers me that Stefanski just refuses on any level to give the kid. You're telling me it's going to take Dylan Gabriel getting hurt for Shedeur to get a chance? That's
I don't know.
Insane.
Dylan Gabriel is as bad a rookie quarterback as we have seen in some years in this league. And it's hard to fathom that. It is the natural dumbest team in the history of sports. Terrible. Brandon Bootlair. A good running game is the quarterback's best friend, and Taylor is the best running back in running game in the business. He is right now. But the thing that I really struggle with some of these teams, and the Eagles tonight give Saquon Barkley the ball. And you're seeing it with the Bears. It's almost universal. You're seeing it with the Bears. You're seeing it. You see it across the league. The teams that are better run the ball and throw the ball to the running back, and they use the tight ends in the middle of the field. Colston Loveland yesterday, Cole Kmet yesterday,
yes,
DeAndre Swift yesterday. Like, you look at the situation in Chicago, the backs and tight ends are creating opportunities for the wide receivers. And I think when you look at The Colts, they're a perfect example of that. I look at the Giants. I think the Giants are very interesting. They fired Brian Daboll today. Obviously, Cam concussion being out does not help, or I mean, Scattaboo being out does not help. Allowing Jackson Dart to run this much is derelict in his duties. I'm not saying to keep him in the pocket. You cannot allow him to run as much as he's running with the reckless abandon that he is. He's had, I think, 5 straight games where he's been examined for concussion. Jackson Dart. And left the game yesterday with a concussion.
Including one where Dayball got in trouble for
going to the tent.
For going to the tent, yeah.
You can't keep doing this. This is not how the game is played. And I look at the Buffalo Bills, bro. Hold on, we'll get to the Bills in a minute. Do you try to get Lane Kiffin to be the head coach of the Giants?
No.
Well, there's a lot of talk about it. Because who did he coach in college?
Mm-hmm.
How many concussions did he have?
Mm-hmm.
How in control did he play? Way more in control and many fewer concussions. And it's an offense tailored to his strength. The offense in New York is not tailored to Jackson and his strength. It is wide open. Go do what you want, because you can see he doesn't have any leash on.
You tell me that Lane's interested in the NFL with how prolific
I don't know.
he is at the college level.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that people in New York are talking about, should Lane Kiffin get a call from the Giants? I don't even think it's that outlandish. Now, I wouldn't go to the Giants. If I'm Lane Kiffin, I'm not going to the Dolphins. I'm not going to the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes sense that they would call him.
Yeah. I want nothing to do with that if I'm Lane. But yeah, hey, give the guy a call. What's the worst he can say, right?
But it's not, does Lane Kiffin want anything to do with it? If you're the New York Giants, is that a call you should be making? Because I'm getting tired of looking at these organizations who aren't going all in on their rookies. If you drafted a quarterback, you got to go all in on him. And I look across this league, and again, I'm just going to keep pointing at the LA Rams, who very well might be the best team in the NFC right now. And I'm looking at a team like the New England Patriots, who might well be the best team in the AFC. I look at the facilitation that they have put on the table to make Drake May elite, and just how much money and time they've invested in developing a defense. You understand why they're 8-2, right? I look at the LA Chargers. You might want to learn to protect Justin Herbert. And if that, Jesus Christ, are we not going to call defensive ends diving at the legs of NFL quarterbacks anymore?
Apparently not. No.
Because Herbert and Caleb yesterday both had that happen multiple times, no flag. And that's got to get cleaned up. But you look at these situations where the Chargers are all in, the Seahawks with Darnold. You look at the Bucks with Wake and Bake, the Rams, the Bears, the Dallas Cowboys, I think, have gone all in on Dak, as they should, and it's paid dividends. When you go all in, and when I say go all in, you're facilitating offenses and personnel to play to the strength of the quarterback. That's what you have to do. And if you're not going to do that, you're going to fail in this league.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at the Buffalo Bills. Is there any finer example of a team that has done nothing to facilitate the success of their star quarterback? You don't have wide receiver talent. You are fully reliant on the tight end. Make it make sense for me, because I don't get it. I do not get it. Yeah, I think it is. What the Buffalo Bills are doing is nothing short of malpractice right now. And if you do not fire Sean McDermott after this season, you all you're saying is that you don't care about winning. That's what you're telling me. If you keep Sean McDermott as the head coach of the Bills, you are simply saying that you are fine losing football games. Yeah. I would make a change. Absolutely,
yeah,
I would make a change.
The thing is if you're going to fire him, you got to find a candidate that's as good or better than him, in my opinion. You got to find someone that has won at the NFL level before. You've got to, you can't just go and hire some bag off the street or someone who got fired who's looking for a job. It's got to be a no doubt about it kind of candidate. So, I mean, I agree that, how many chances is Sean McDermott going to get at the egg? How many times you gonna allow him to get to the
Super
AFC
Bowl
champion?
window is closed, Jake. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, currently with this current roster, but it hasn't closed with Josh Allen. Josh Allen's got 10 years left at least. I mean, he's got a long time to go still. So I just think that it's a situation where they at some point are going to decide that they want to get an offensive-minded head coach in, and they want to go all in on the offense, and and go that route, and hopefully that works.
I would also remind you the Big Daddy Magic is a resident Buffalo Bills fan on this show, and he has, to his credit, stopped asking me to buy him a 3X large red long sleeve Buffalo Bills t-shirt. Instead, he has changed his request pretty significantly.
Hey, player. Since we can't find a 3X large Buffalo Bills logo shirt, how about you get me some weed? All right, Fifth and Cherry, there is...
And then he goes on to name all of the spots where I can go and buy him weed.
Okay.
To which I said, absolutely not.
Timothy Moneymaker, don't tease me about weed, because I'll be on your house on the Saturday, flying first class, sitting next to Vanna White.
Vanna
But
White.
I'll tell you, man, I can't believe Seattle. There is a apartment,
Hello.
Bevelano. The security guard sells weed, just don't smoke it in the room. Wow. And I'm going to tag you in my BYU Texas Tech football thing.
Bro, what are we even supposed to say to this?
I'm taking Texas Tech. Big surprise, I'm stealing all your stuff. People don't call me Big Daddy the total package. I got the look, I got the goods. Bro. Now I got the football knowledge. Bye.
I don't even know where I go from this. But then,
hey, player, the Bears won today. I heard Caleb Williams' speech before I went out in Chicago to play those Giants. He said, these fake ass motherfucking Giants. Victor's the only Giant I recognize. Now let's drink our mother's milk and go win the game. And they did. That's right. Victor Wembanyama's in Chicago. Victor, the apple of the NBA's eye, the golden boy.
Come on.
The number one choice for the MVP is in downtown Chicago, the shithole of America.
Okay, see,
and so he goes on to rip my hometown, and then he wants me to buy him weed. No, the answer is no.
What? Like, I understand that Monty went full douche mode over the weekend with his styling. But that doesn't make him a weed dealer, bro. Like, what are we doing?
I
mean, you're talking to a bro who's never smoked weed in his life, dude, and you want him to get you a deal?
Admittedly, I tweaked him because I said, hey, can you ask your dealers if they take checks? He was not happy. Boy? He was not happy with that answer. BDM is now embarrassed to be a Bills fan.
Well, I would be. You guys understand that, Mike McDaniel, he Air Force Ones and pants that get wrapped around his calves is rolling around Miami, going to all the local bars where the Bills fans go,
And
in his Merc. Like, dude, you guys won one game, and now you're trolling Bills fans.
But how did the Bills lose in Miami? And
Good Lord.
and the coach keeps his job. Somebody help me explain that. Like, how do you reconcile that the Buffalo Bills, with arguably the best quarterback in the NFL, got Tua Tagovailoa mama in Miami?
Uh-huh.
When Allen goes 306, 2 touchdowns, a pick, and a fumble. Oh, it's because you can't run the ball. It's 87 yards rushing against a defense who, frankly, can't stop the run. And, that's right. You gave up 200 yards rushing, including Devin Achane, who broke you off for 59 yards. I'll never understand it. And yet Sean McDermott is supposedly this beloved coach. Fire his ass. Fire his ass, dude.
Yeah, man.
Like, I understand it. You've lost the AFC East now. Now you have to go to Foxborough and try not to lose both games to the Patriots because they beat you earlier, and now on December 14th, 4 days short of Jake's prepubescent birthday, you have to go to Foxborough and try not to lose.
Yeah, good luck, dude.
By the way, the Bills' schedule. Buccaneers at the Texans, at the Steelers. Ooh, did you guys see Aaron Rodgers yesterday? It's not good. Bengals at the Pats, at the Browns, Eagles, Jets. You have one game to win. That is the New England Patriots. Because you lose that game and you're done.
Yep.
You're done.
Yep.
There's nothing to even talk about. You're going to win your other games. But if you look at where the Bills, they're only a game ahead of Jacksonville, Kansas City, and Houston. 2 ahead of Houston, rather. And the biggest issue is, here's the biggest issue. A team like the Baltimore Ravens is probably winning their division, which is going to put the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's going to put the Pittsburgh Steelers into a position where they have a win over the Patriots and you don't. Like, you have to go to New England and beat the Patriots if you're the Bills.
But again, this is a team that has shown they can beat the Chiefs this season and then drops the ball against the Dolphins. Like, I just don't trust them to do what they need to do. That's the issue. And I think that again, it's always been a problem of, hey, we don't have receivers, or we don't have running backs, or like this year we can't run the ball, or I mean, it's just one thing after another, and it just gets tired, dude. I'm over the. I got to tell you, I'm really struggling with the narratives in the league this year. Like, I'm sick and tired of the. Well, like, I'm tired of the Dolphins suck narrative. Okay, they suck. Let's fire the head coach. Let's move along. Right.
Well, it turns out to be a good move not to fire Mike McDaniel.
He's won one game. You know, right?
Right.
Like,
but when did they fire the GM? Last week. Like, he won the next game they played. Like, I don't hate on guys who don't get fired. Like Joe Shine in New York. Should Joe Shine, the general manager of the Giants, have been fired? Probably. But he didn't get fired, and I'm thrilled for the guy. He's going to get to now lead the search for his next coach. Great. Right? Like, if you're the Miami Dolphins, you're 3-7 now. You needed that win desperately. But if I say fired or not, Shane Steichen with the Colts.
No.
Of course not. Right? But if I said Sean Payton with the Broncos,
I wouldn't fire him either.
He's got another year, and if Bo Nix fails, who are you going to blame?
Sean Payton.
Mike Vrabel with the Patriots.
No.
Absolutely not. Mike Tomlin with the Steelers.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
I would fire Mike Tomlin. That's one of the worst, because it's one of the worst defenses in the NFL. It's one of the worst defenses in the NFL.
I cannot wait for Aaron Rodgers to retire so you'll get off of it, dude.
It's one of the most... Well, I didn't say Aaron Rodgers was good yesterday. That defense, do you guys understand that statistically, I think it's the 4th worst defense and the most expensive defense? Yar. But you're okay, Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers. No.
John Harbaugh.
Sean McDermott with the Bills. Yeah, you should fire him.
Probably.
Yes. Crazy cross-eyed bro in Jacksonville. Liam. No, probably not yet. Andy Reid, of course not. Buddy in Houston.
Marco.
D'Amico Ryans. That's like, it's a dude, I'm telling you, if you should fire your coach. And if you shouldn't. Matt LaFleur.
No.
Kevin Stefanski.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yesterday, last year, 2 years ago.
Right? What about what's going on with Detroit right now?
No, you're not firing him.
Well, I'm not saying to fire Dan Campbell. He took over play calling yesterday.
Yeah, which is shocking.
Like, there's some weird stuff in this league right now. And I think Detroit is struggling under the weight of expectations, and their schedule is not going to be easy. You lost to the Chiefs, beat the Bucks, lost to the Vikings, beat the Commanders. Now you've got the Eagles next Sunday night, at the Eagles, Giants, Packers, Cowboys, at the Rams, Steelers, at the Vikings, at the Bears. There's a real chance they don't win the division, and there's a real chance they miss the playoffs. That is a tough schedule.
Yes, it is.
So I just think there's a lot of weird things happening in the NFL. They should fire Sean McDermott, in my opinion. BYU wants to play TT in the Big 12 championship game. Well, you should have probably played them in the Big 12 championship game Saturday, and then we wouldn't be having this discussion. Oh, wait, you don't have a quarterback. That's right. Are you ready to at least mea culpa on Bear Bachmeier?
Here, let me. I know what you can write into the comment section. I was wrong about Bear Bachmeier. We need to figure out a way to win with him.
Because this year he is going to struggle. And then he'll be significantly better next year. Yes, fire Kevin Stefanski. Okay. Cringe coach video all-time Jags coach. Yeah, Liam Cohen. Brutal. If you watched the same game I did and think BYU could have done anything against Texas Tech, then I question your knowledge of the game. Okay, question my knowledge of the game. It's not, I don't know ball. It's not like I've covered sports for 30 years, and it's not like I got pretty much every detail of that game prediction correct. The simple problem was exactly what I told you it would be. They sold out to stop the run. You had no room on the line of scrimmage. And if you had a quarterback who could throw the ball inbounds down the field, not to Texas Tech, you'd have won that game. Because Texas Tech can't score touchdowns in the red zone against BYU's defense. I don't even have to.
It's not hard to understand.
It's guys like this that annoy me. I'm just never going to read your comment again. Fire Pete Carroll. Certainly. I would agree with that. Duval.
Yeah.
Agree. Fire Tomlin. I agree. 100%. Some of these NFL coaches are avoiding the run game, and it's not working. Why, though? Pax, I agree with you.
They don't have the talent. They don't have the
Why?
talent.
The Eagles don't have the talent?
Not in a traditional running back sense, no. I think it's a real conversation around, hey, do you want to have Saquon out in the flat? Do you want to, get him, how do you want to use Saquon Barkley, I think is a massive question. You're not just going to turn around and hand it off to bro, dude.
They do it all the time.
Yeah, but not like to a point where it's like, hey, they've got a great run game. You're not doing that to him. You're
out
gonna
of your mind.
You're going to get him out in the route. You're going to get him.
They gave him the ball against the Vikings. They gave him the ball 18 times. 18 carries, 44 yards. They gave him the ball 18 times. They only threw to him once.
Then that's their mistake, which has been the story of their entire season. They don't know how to use Saquon Barkley, and they don't know how to use A.J. Brown, and they don't know how to use DeMonte.
Bro.
That's their whole issue.
I totally disagree with you. They're not committed to running the football. He is the biggest issue. The most carries he's had, they won 20-17 over Kansas City at 22 carries. He should be breaking 20 carries every game. And they won't do it. And the biggest issue is they do not target him enough in the passing game. I agree with that. But it's Derrick Henry. Give the guy the football.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't be giving the guy the football in leverage situations. He has lost that trust.
Because he's fumbled?
Twice to lose a game.
He's fumbled his entire career.
No, he has not fumbled his entire career. Go look at the numbers.
Bro.
He has not fumbled his entire career the way he has fumbled in Baltimore.
Okay.
He hasn't.
Yes, he has. In Baltimore, do you know how many fumbles he has in the 2 years he's been in Baltimore?
Too many. No, I don't know the number.
He has 6. He has 6 combined. 3 this year, 3 last year. Granted, it's 3 in 9 games. And he's lost 2 of the 3. He's fumbled 20 times in his NFL career. The guy fumbles the football a lot.
Okay, well, what I'm telling you then, okay, great.
4 times.
You, the guy has fumbled in the highest leverage situations possible and lost you 2 games.
Right.
I'm not running the ball with him in leverage situations.
He's averaging 4.8 yards a carry. I'm giving him the football as much as I can. They overthink it, and then they wonder, well, man, I wonder why we're losing. Now, granted, the Baltimore Ravens have turned things around. Like you look at the win on the Vikings, 20 carries, 75 yards, 3.8 yards a carry against one of the best run defenses in the NFL. And I think the good news is he didn't fumble. You got to give him the football. Is he a guy you want to target 10 times throwing it? No. I would target him 4 or 5 times a game. And I think you'll see he'll do exceptionally well. But the issue in like Baltimore is a great example. Baltimore is too in love with Lamar Jackson running the football. Lamar running it 10 times a game is not going to win them a Super Bowl. It's just not. It is not. Lamar has turned himself into a better than serviceable quarterback. And their defense has improved. Now, the Baltimore defense is a huge conundrum in and of itself. But give the ball to Derrick Henry. Right? In my opinion, most of the teams in this league that don't run the football well enough. Buffalo's another one. You lose to the Dolphins who can't stop the run. And essentially, it's because you didn't give James Cook the ball enough. You gave him the ball 13 times. He averaged 4 yards a carry. You gave him the ball 13 times. That's it. Josh Allen had 4 for 31 and the game-killing fumble. I guess we'll agree to disagree. Anyway, I've spoken. Who said that BYU was better than Texas Tech? I'm a BYU casual fan, and I know that that's not true. There is a 1% chance they can win if they meet again, but they have to play perfect. This year, I think it's unlikely. Because, again, I think you look at the quarterbacks, and I think Texas Tech fan will agree with me. Baron Morton is terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
You're really uncomfortable with it. And I don't see now, and if you're just tuning in, obviously we've talked a lot about the BYU game the first hour of the show. And I will just continue to tell you, we're going to find out who good old number 47 is as a quarterback the next 6 weeks. Because guys his age do one of 2 things in these circumstances. They're fetal position on the floor, crying out their guts. Or they do what Arch has done. You pick yourself up and you become a much better quarterback because of how you played in that game. And Bear Bachmeier was awful Saturday in Lubbock.
Mm-hmm.
He will be, if they win out and BYU goes to the Big 12 championship game, he will be a significantly better quarterback. But if they go on and they lose to TCU or they lose 2 of these next 3, and he will have regressed. He will continue to question his RPO decisions. And why did he make almost every RPO? Like when you're running the ball, how many mistakes did he make not keeping the ball and running it himself? 3 or 4 at least. Why is that? Because they're not asking him to read defenses. They're asking him to read a guy. But Texas Tech's defense is elite. You can't read one guy and make a decision and have success. So he doesn't know what he's looking at, so he doesn't pull the ball back, and LJ paid a price for it this weekend. But that's where you are with a true freshman. Jake smashed, so now Bear Bachmeier's playing. This is the bed we lie in.
Facts.
Does this mean that Bear Bachmeier sucks? No. Does this mean that Bear Bachmeier is... No. What it means is he's a true freshman who's never seen a defense of that caliber. And we now get to find out what kind of character the man is. And my guess is he's going to pick himself up and he's going to be a significantly better quarterback. And as I said, I want to see them pull the souls of TCU players out their asshole Saturday in Provo. I want to see a crushing defeat for TCU. If I'm a BYU fan, I want angry offense. I want far less running from Bear down the stretch and far more throwing. You're not fixing the mechanics now. I had a great DM with a quarterback guru over the weekend who was asking me about Bears mechanics. You're not going to fix those. He is a leg lock thrower and his arm is lazy. You're not fixing that in November. January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Yes.
Where did you hear about that kind of development for quarterbacks at BYU? There was some kid who was Jewish and a quarterback who went to John Beck to develop and then came back as a baller. That's right. It doesn't happen this time of year. You're not changing your stripes right now.
That's right. I think, in my opinion, I am telling you now, they're not ready because Bear's not ready. And I'm not here to have a I told you so. What I'm telling you is Bear's not ready.
Okay, hold on a second, not to cut you off. What do you mean our pick was wrong? We told you exactly how that game was going to go, and that's how it went. What do you mean?
Our pick was wrong? I'm not a Texas Tech homer either, but I'm telling you their bad offense is okay. No. Again, why are we reading his comment? My pick was not only not bad, it was exactly what happened. I'm not going to play your stupid game. You're angry about whatever, and you're not welcome here. I'm not going to read your comments. I changed my YouTube name as a BYU fan so I wouldn't get exposed today. That's up to you. Listen, what happened with BYU and Bear Bachmeier was very predictable because he is very young and he had not seen a defense with this ferocity. And when you don't read the defense, and this is what a lot of true freshmen do, they don't read defenses, they read players. They like Bear is he is going to look at, depending on the play, he's going to look at wide receiver this guy, Parker Kingston, and tight end this guy, or chase this guy, and the real issue is they made so many mistakes on special teams that BYU handicapped themselves and put him in a really bad spot to begin with.
Agreed.
You cannot turn the ball over and you cannot have mistakes on special teams from a group that is usually elite, which tells you the environment was very charged and they weren't quite ready for the energy that was in that building because Texas Tech fans were great. Just is what it is. Bear is half Asian. I'm not worried about his mental. What has that got to do with anything? Do you guys see what happens? What does that have to do with anything? What does it? Come on. Monty DM'd a quarterback guru. Who? James? Yes. Oak State James and I. That's right. Bear is about to go to the Beck Academy this offseason. And it's exactly what every BYU starting quarterback should do, because John Beck and Tom House are elite teachers of the quarterback position. And John Beck, the thing that you get from John Beck is the mental aspect of becoming a better quarterback. The mechanic thing, you can get that fixed. Bear's going to become a significantly better thrower of the football is my guess. But what Bear has to learn is pretty much everything on the mental side of what the defense is trying to do to the offense. The hard part about Texas Tech's defense is their front seven impacts your quarterback so much that their secondary doesn't have to be elite. Because the ball doesn't, the ball isn't well placed 9 out of 10 throws because you're so worried about Daly. I thought Romello Height had exactly the game that I told you he would have. The guy is, Romello Height is, bro, if you don't like watching Texas Tech play defense, you're broken, because that defense is fun to watch. And it just is incredible to me. It is so incredible to me that Texas Tech, I'm really worried about Baron Morton. I just I love everything about Texas Tech's defense. It is, I'm a big fan of great defensive football, but Baron Morton is not there yet. Yet. Baron Morton's not that guy. And a Texas Tech fan, again, is going to tell you injury. I'm telling you decision-making, confidence, belief. Because when a guy's throwing a football, he's got to believe in it. And the biggest issue is BYU figured out very quickly when you blitz Baron Morton, good things happen, especially with this leg injury.
Yes.
Because he can't go anywhere. Not that he goes anywhere anyway. But I just really worry about Texas Tech's viability as a conference champion beyond the conference championship. I worry about them in the college football playoff, because even if the projected bracket from last week came true, you're not beating Oregon. And that game had absolutely better be in Lubbock. And it better be. Because what I saw from Dante Moore this weekend, God damn, that was an incredible performance.
Mm-hmm.
That was, I think Texas Tech's defense is better than Indiana's. I watched a lot of Indiana, Petto State. Watched a lot of Indiana's defense. I think Texas Tech is better. It's close. But Paxton, Monty, CBS has Tech playing Texas in the playoff. Winner playing Texas A&M. Sign me up, dude. That'd be phenomenal. Do you guys understand how close College Station, Austin, like they're all, like Waco, they're all in each other's backyard. It's phenomenal. Central Texas football is. And honestly, I think, and I know everybody's going to say, oh, College Station, huge fan base. Texas Tech's got a fantastic fan base.
Yeah, I think that was on display Saturday.
Oh, that stadium when it's full is, Tech is very fun. And they handled themselves well. No tortilla incidents. No. I think it's sad that they were chanting what they were chanting at BYU fans. But
who's surprised?
Yeah. But that's, is what it is, man. Real quick, and I know that this is probably not going to be popular. Anybody see Donnie at the Washington Commanders game? Did you guys see this? Donald Trump is at the Washington Commanders game. The crowd was not amused. That's not good. So it came out over the weekend that Donald Trump is, quote unquote, demanding that the Washington Commanders name their new stadium after him. And he goes to the game and like you could not hear what he was saying.
Yeah, he got lit up.
That was that was not good.
Yeah, not a great look, man. I think that, you know, no matter where you fall on Donnie and politics and all that, I think that I just think that right now the momentum is, I don't even think it's in the favor of Democrats. I think it's in the favor of, hey, this isn't working and we want change. We want things to be cheaper. We want a better economy. We want, I mean, all the usual suspects for topics to Americans. And I think that's why the reaction is so poor. You know, I mean, I understand that, you know, hey, it's, you know, people will boo just to have fun. But that was like more than that. That was like the whole building being pissed that you were at the game, dude, which I thought was pretty wild to see.
Yeah, I don't know. That's rough. I did something today I didn't think that I would do. I registered to vote as an independent for the first time in 30 years.
Ever?
I'm not a registered Republican. I registered as an independent today. And it was actually emotional for me. Is that weird?
Why was it emotional?
Because I love what the Republican Party used to stand for. Small government, get out of my business, stay out of my house. I loved it. Land of the free, home of the brave. Defend the Constitution with your life. And we just aren't that country anymore. And really not right now. But it's really tough to say out loud that I'm a registered independent now. And it's really this thing with you guys, this thing with the SNAP benefits, Donald Trump going to the Supreme Court to free SNAP benefits, and now leaning on states to recall the money that they've sent out. Do you guys understand who is on SNAP? It's, and if you follow me on TikTok, you saw the guy that was railing in my comment section about how they need to get jobs and they should be forced to work.
Yeah, which is an insane take.
Do you guys understand that it is the elderly, the disabled, and children? 96% of people on SNAP benefits are children, the disabled, and elderly. Did I mention that it's also a lot of veterans? And that's who you are trying to not give money to.
What are we doing?
And it's money that's already waiting to be dispersed. It's through it is largely through the tax collection system. It's not an earmark or carved out of the federal budget. It's not like you got to get a budget going or reopen the government. It's sitting there. And we're working hard. And this is the thing I think that people don't understand. We're working really hard to not feed children when 1 in 5 kids is hungry. We're working hard not to feed kids so they're not as competitive in school. We know that kids who have food instability don't test as well. We know that kids who have food instability don't grade out as well because they can't perform because they're not eating regularly. And we're telling them, yeah, we're not going to give you food. What question, like, where's the win in withholding SNAP benefits from veterans Where's the win in withholding SNAP benefits from disabled people, from elderly, and from kids? What's the win in that? What is like, I don't understand that.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely traction happening where people are upset now, generally speaking, with the SNAP thing. There's a lot of different topics to cover, obviously, but people are upset. They're not happy. They're not content with how things are. And so people, I feel like, and this is just my opinion, but I think people are starting to do their homework. People are starting to be like, hey, well, Donnie keeps saying that we're bringing in all this money and the stock market's great. And,
take this $2,000 disbursement.
Yeah.
Notice that it's no longer a disbursement. Because have you guys thought about how much money that would require? Every U.S. citizen would get $2,000. That's what Donald Trump is saying. Do you guys understand there's 343 million? 343 million U.S. citizens on the planet right now. And let's just ask Siri, hey Siri, how much is 343 million times 2,000?
That would be 686 billion.
Do we have enough money are we making $686 billion in tariffs?
If you ask him, we are.
Well, we're not. And the issue with that is that that would be, it's impossible to do. We would lose money on that. There's only 195 billion in tariffs, allegedly. And if the country is thriving, here's the other part, because Donald Trump keeps talking about, hey, like how much we're thriving, the economy's never been better, then why are we sending out $2,000 to every citizen?
Why do they need it? And
calling it a stimulus. So we're not getting $2,000 per citizen. That's not happening. They can't afford it. My point is, what are we doing? We are trying to keep kids from eating. The vulnerable people in our society, we're trying to keep them from eating. I don't understand it. And that you went to the Supreme Court to do that. And now you're telling states who have distributed money that they have to unwind that. And not giving them a process to do that. I'd love to understand it. And if last Tuesday's referendum from the American people did not tell you something, this is probably not the right way to go. And the government is probably going to reopen probably Thursday. And you're going to have people lose healthcare benefits December 1st because the Democrats collapsed. In what I think is an absolute betrayal of the American people. You are going to kick millions of people. And I would remind you, most of the people on the Affordable Care Act are Republicans and in Republican counties. You're going to kick millions of people off of the Affordable Care Act, which essentially is discounts on health insurance. So how are you going to do that?
Look, the reality is, for your everyday working American, I think that all they don't care about the hows and whys per se, right? They don't care about, bills and acts and why the government's been shut down for way too long. They care that FAA airspace was limited, which canceled their flight. That's what they care about. They care about, hey, like, you ran on groceries being cheaper and they're not even close to as cheap. You care about, hey, well, what does a $2,000 tax benefit mean to people who don't understand the tax code? It doesn't mean anything to them. means nothing to them. You're not giving them anything because they don't understand how to leverage it. And it just, I just think we're in a time and space where you're not going to continue to garner support if you're not helping the masses. And this is inevitably where we get to in the cycle. And this is not unique to Donnie. This is not unique to any individual. We've seen this before. Hey, the rich are getting richer, right? Hey, the rich are doing their thing. And I'm not saying they're bad people, but the country, the way we're set up, the masses in the country have to be happy and taken care of in order for you to keep power from a political standpoint. That's the reality of the situation. So if you can't even keep the masses happy because you're so busy cutting money and doing all these cuts and trying to figure out how to run from the Epstein file situation, how to get over the fact that you didn't get the bombing in Iran correct. Like there's a million of these topics you're running from. People aren't stupid and the narrative builds. And that, to your point, I think is what we saw last week. That's why you lost the way you lost last week. That's why, whatever you think of what's going on in New York, why do you think they voted that way? Why do you think they're tired of the name Cuomo, right?
Because we do things like the SNAP thing's interesting. The press secretary for Donald Trump tried to say that there was massive fraud in the SNAP program. And when she was pressed on it for numbers and details, she couldn't provide it. And so the Department of Justice tried to do the same thing, wouldn't provide details. And that's what we try to do. Oh, well, there's fraud. And you have no way to back that up, right? We have no way how to tell people the truth is, because now nobody believes anything because the disinformation, the lies have been so plentiful. So we find ourselves in this position where, again, it's the less fortunate, it's the disadvantaged, it's kids being punished. We're going to defund education. Who gets punished by that? And then we're all pissed off that we buy chips from China. Well, why are we buying chips from China? Because we don't educate people. We don't feed kids. We don't educate them. And then we're shocked when more and more kids are living at home. And we want to do this thing where we're doing 50-year mortgages. Do you understand how stupid a 50-year mortgage is? All you're doing is doubling your interest payments. Oh, well, our mortgage note's going to be lower. I can afford to buy a house. Your interest you're almost doubling. The numbers are out.
On top of the debt you already have.
The numbers are out. You're paying double the interest. Double the interest.
Who does that help? Who does that help?
The banks. Ray McLeod, they voted that way. Each of the elections were in blue states. No, my guy. And this is another White House talking point. Do you understand the number of Trump districts and the number of Trump votes that they lost? It was decimating.
Yeah.
It's not that they were in blue states. Donald Trump won because of the Latino vote and black men. He lost all of those on Tuesday night. When you say they were in blue states, do you understand the red districts in those blue states are no longer red? Do you understand the elections in the state house level that were lost? Do you understand the gubernatorial momentum you lost?
Did you see what happened in Georgia, bro?
Like you cannot continue to like, and Ray, I don't know you. I've never heard of you. What you're doing is regurgitating White House talking points. And if you haven't learned by now, those talking points are not accurate, right? Listen to your argument. Conservative principles are good and liberal principles are, no, they're not. When what you're getting is not conservative principles. Smaller government is good. We're not getting smaller government. Everybody's like, oh, well, look at all the cuts they made. Do you think the government shrunk? The government did not shrink. Oh, they fired and laid off people. Do you really think that shrank the government? They have more reach and more control of your home now than they ever have before. And you think that's a good thing?
Yeah. How is
Like,
how are all those National Guardsmen and ICE agents doing in your city? And we think we have smaller government. Yeah, it seems to make sense.
and this Pulte bro advocating for 50-year mortgages. This is truly this comment right here. This is why we're in trouble. And I hope people understand this, because you're so worried about keeping conservative values. You don't even realize the conservative values are dead. Conservative values are dead. And when you start looking at the 50-year mortgage thing today, and listen, I hope that people do their own homework. I really do. Do you guys understand that Bill Pulte, who is the director of housing in this country, do you guys understand who he is? Do you guys know who Bill Pulte is? And why he is, the director of housing, and it is a catastrophe. But do you understand his background? This is a guy who is known for building homes. This is a guy who is now the chairman of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Do we have any idea what those guys are? That's the lending system for real estate in our country, essentially. So let me get this right. The guy who's in charge of making banks money, because what is Freddie Mae and Fannie Mac essentially? It's a guarantee from the government, so a bank will make you a loan. You mean he's in favor of 50-year mortgages that are going to screw consumers? I can't believe that.
Why would, man, it's so hard to understand.
Because who makes money on 50-year mortgages? There's only one entity, the banks. And then what do the banks have to do with it? They have to pay the government. You guys, 50-year mortgages are a disaster. Please don't take out a 50-year mortgage. Well, Monty, it's going to lower our payment. We can pay the mortgage off in 10 years. So take a 30-year mortgage, dude. If you're going to pay your mortgage off in 50 years, in a 50-year mortgage off in 10 years, take a 30-year mortgage and don't pay the interest at a double rate.
But that right there is the point. Why are they doing this? Because they know all people care about is getting into a house. They're not concerned by the terms of getting into a house. That's the person they're playing on with this tactic. The person that's like, oh, well, it'll lower my monthly. Yeah, but you're in debt for 50 freaking years, bro. Like, you should not buy a house or get a mortgage, I should say, because, you shouldn't get a mortgage unless you can comfortably afford it. You should not add real estate debt on top of consumer debt unless you can reasonably afford it. Unless it is proper ratios, unless there's a reason that when the economy, not the stock market, but the actual economy is strong, it is not just everybody and their mom is getting a mortgage. There are proper parameters.
Do you understand that conservative values would be diametrically opposed to a 50-year mortgage?
Yes.
That's why these dummies that are like, oh, well, traditional conservative values are being honed. And do you guys know what traditional conservative values are? Government that stays the hell out of your home. Individual rights as Americans. We have a constitution that doesn't allow guys to run for third terms of presidencies. It is, when you look at individual, the core tenet of the conservative movement is individual freedoms.
Yes.
Well, we don't have freedom of speech. We just freedom of speech on its own should make any Republican or any conservative just absolutely furious. And as somebody who has voted for every Republican president, essentially, it is infuriating to me that we want to talk about a strong national defense and our National Guard is being deployed against our people. A core fundamental value of the conservative movement is a strong national defense. And we're taking our men and women in service and putting them on the streets of cities that we don't like their politics. How does that work? Our president is pissed off that the Supreme Court refused today to hear the gay marriage argument, to repeal the Gay Marriage Act. Individual freedoms, man. Individual liberty. No. Free market and capitalism. Do we have free market and capitalism right now? With these tariffs? Absolutely not. You're talking to somebody who's involved in e-commerce. I got a note from my shipping and logistics people today that said December 1st is going to be a very expensive day for all of us. We don't have individual freedoms. We don't have individual liberties. That's the problem. That's the problem. We're not doing conservatism in this country anymore.
No.
We are quite literally bending the knee. Do you guys understand that the House has not been in session since September? It's November 10th. And the House has not been in session since September, I think it's 19th. What are we doing? Are we paying soldiers? No. Are we paying air traffic controllers? No. It's outrageous to me.
It is insane.
It is outrageous to me that we sit here and we talk about how our strong conservative values are always right. Where's free market and capitalism? Our strong conservative values, limited government that stays out of my house. Strong conservative values, rule of law. Rule of law. Where's the rule of law? When we have masked men in vehicles with no markings or license plates going to immigration courts, guys in people in immigration courts winning their cases and then immediately being scooped up, taken to anonymous prisons, and then sent to countries where they're not from and have no roots. That's rule of law? Are you out of your mind? That's not rule of law. That's not who we are. We don't have our military on the street policing people. We do not kidnap people. Do you guys see the problem that we have now? We don't do American politics anymore. We do the politics of Donald Trump currently. These are not conservative values.
Nope.
They're not. Because this is not what W or HW would have done. This is certainly not what Reagan would have done. This is not who we are. And this idea, I am warning you right now, if you take out a 50-year mortgage, you will never recover because you cannot sell your house at that point. You will be so far upside down. 50 years of interest debt. I got a mortgage for 50 years. Do you know how much more you're paying?
Crazy.
Your house can never have equity. If you take a 50-year mortgage, you are likely to never be in equity. And yet our director of housing in this country is advocating for 50-year mortgages. A director of Fannie and Freddie is advocating for 50-year mortgages. I don't even know what to say to that. It's when the National Association of Realtors doesn't want your 50-year mortgage plan, you probably are doing something wrong.
Seriously.
Like it is unconceivable that we're doing 50-year mortgages, bruh.
Yeah, and I just don't understand it, man. Well, I do, but it's just totally unnecessary.
100% unnecessary.
Yeah.
And anyway, I could rail on and on and on and on. I'm just begging you not to do 50-year mortgages, guys. Please, please don't do 50-year mortgages. Please. We got another 5-star review on the Amazon product.
There it is, bro.
Let's go. The shelf is. So I do e-commerce. The shelf that I'm selling is absolutely crushing. It's pretty remarkable. The shelf's doing great. There you go. Wait, what now? Insane to the membrane. Yeah. Insane in the membrane. God, I miss that. Don't you miss that? We were listening to 90s music the other day. All right, final comment. Conservatives also believe in education and science, which we don't do in this country anymore. So there you go. Yeah. All right, that's it. Show's over. Don't forget to go to buckedup.com. Get your creatine. 20% off. Use the promo code Monty. And as always, the Monty Show presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. Get clear, risk-free advice 24/7, 365. When you need it, where you need it, how you need it. Hopefully you never need it, but when you do, they're ready to serve you at theadvocates.com. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.